is just this is nighttime post meat talk already.
This is KOTL after dark right now. All right,
Facts.
we're recording, but it's the same talk we're doing. So we're just saying, you and Taylor don't link up very often, even though you're both 10 minutes away. But I got you. So here's the thing. Here's I know, like, you're right. He's got a crazy job. He's got two kids.
Two.
And you got a crazy, or no, one kid.
Oh,
One kid.
I
Look,
was
look
about
at
to
me,
say,
look at me,
I
look
was
at me
about to
putting
text him like,
kids.
yo, bro. Oh man. I was about to be like, yo, brother.
Yeah, what? We need to link up. We really drifted if I don't even know how many kids you got and you're 10 minutes away. But but you guys both together have five world titles underneath you. Together.
Mm,
So you two training has got to be, and now he's moved into the 83s. So he's not full 83 yet. He's like 81 or something. He was on the podcast and he said his body weight, but he's an 83. Like he'll
mhm,
be 83. So you guys can train together like side by side and push each other with those weights, like load up squatting. You
for
guys will
sure.
force each other to level up. Can you imagine? You guys got to link up more often.
Bro, we tried to do it. We had one error. We had one error when like Taylor was really on his like
Mm,
YouTube and like all that stuff where we would link up a lot. And Gavin would be
mhm.
in there too. And just like the Olympia happened, like oh 9 yards, like around like the first Sheffield era.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
then like it just died. Like, like he's busy, I'm busy. But I do you know what it is? So part of it was I know, like, especially since he's been coming back from the injury, like, I know Taylor enough that I know that sometimes he likes being in the bunker by himself. So I'm like,
Right.
all right, let me get him get his like his meat out the way, blow shit up, like he feels back and like not overwhelmed and like he's like, and then like we gotta link up more, especially with the gym coming. Like I'm hitting him up like, yo, bro, there's no excuse. I'm gonna
Dude,
kick his ass if he does it.
100%. Oh, there's no question. So first off, when is your gym opening?
So tentatively 4 to 5 weeks. Tentatively
Okay.
4 to 5 weeks.
So 100% you lean on your boys to show up, and like Taylor showing up, train here a couple times, post about it, please. Like, this is what you do with friends, right? Especially if he's
Yeah,
local. It's like, dude, come on,
yeah,
let's hit a session. Let's hit a session together, but let's do it at my gym, please. And let's
yeah.
let's smash some weights together.
Facts, facts,
Same with
facts.
Gavin. How close is Gavin to you?
So Gavin's like an hour. Gavin's like an hour and some change, maybe give or take. Um, and it's just a matter of timing because sometimes Gavin lifts at weird times,
Mm,
and because he does this full time, so sometimes I'll be smack dab in the middle of the day or like 10 o'clock on a Tuesday. Like I'm just
mm.
I can't do that, brother. Um, but then sometimes like afterwards, if it's too late, if it's at that sweet spot, then you hit traffic. So it really depends with like Gavin, like if we can get down for like his schedule and stuff like that. But no, I remember that was the error when like me, Taylor, and Gavin
Dude,
we were just thugging it out together, just grinding.
dude, you guys had like TikTok videos and like, dude, you guys were just ripping it. And it's cool to see like world champions together, smashing weights and stuff. And also, Bob is from New York, but how
Bob's like
far is Bob
45.
from you guys?
Yeah, Bob's like
Well,
45.
is he 45?
Yeah.
Okay. Not
But see,
around the
here's the
corner.
thing. Like Bob, so Bob is like, and I'm not sure if Bob drives yet because he's like more of like city. He's more of like a city guy. So a lot of times, like the city people don't really like you just public transport. So like it might be
Yeah.
like really inefficient for him to come through very often. But there was like before Otis died, like Black Tom Cruise, like Bob was always at MVB. Like we were training
Really?
like before got with Marcellus and all them, and he was just doing like the crazy like gym lifts and all that. And I'm like, yo,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah.
just get a. I'm just like, bro, just get a coach, like any coach, like pick a card, bro. Just get a coach, please, and like you're gonna be great. Then he finally did it, and then like he started blowing up. But yeah, yeah, yeah. He used to come through all the time. So I hit him. We were just talking the other day. Because there was something about like Sheffield because I'm always tapped out of everything. I have no clue what's going on. So then he was like filling me in, and I was like, oh okay. And so we're hopefully going to link up again soon because yeah, me, I remember Bob used to be in the gym with me, Darius, and some of the crew back when he was still in '83.
Wild
Yeah, yeah,
dude.
yeah. Back when he was still in
What?
'83. Yeah.
I didn't
So like
know that.
we got a few dogs in New York. We're just like New York's so big that it like we get separated easy, and it's just like timing and this and that. But we got to bring the era back. We got to bring the era back.
Well, first off, come on, man. You got to rally everybody from New York. Play that Jay-Z song, Empire State of Mind, or whatever. Play New York with the one with what's her Alicia Keys singing the hook, New York. God,
Oh yeah, yeah.
you know,
In New
you
York.
that's right, that's right. And you guys got to get together, smash some damn weights, dude. Between you, Taylor, Bob, Gavin, how many world records and world titles do we got between all you guys? Like that's New York.
Probably damn
Freaking
near double digits. Yeah,
oh, gotta be because you and Taylor alone is 5 titles, and he's broken world records, and you broke a world record at Sheffield. So that's 6, 7. So all you need between Bob and Gavin, like Gavin just broke a world record. So then
yeah.
you're at
Then
8,
he
and
got
then
then he got the
Bob broke a
squad.
world record, got a world title.
Yeah,
And I know Taylor's got more than one world record. God knows how many world records that man broke. So
yeah.
man, it's that's a Hall of Fame right there. You guys walk in there, smash a video together. You might as well put like the current Hall of Fame class of whatever the shit. Whenever you guys retire, you know,
We
how
got to. We
big
got to.
got to, man. And that's just New York. And when people think about New York, they don't think of powerlifting. Because New York is obviously it's huge. It's got a million things going on in it. But when
Yeah,
we think of powerlifting states or cities, Houston,
yeah.
for sure. You got huge hitters down in Texas, but New York, when you start springing together the hitters we just named, and I'm sure there's more. I'm just not even thinking of.
We
There's
could go
hitters.
toe to we could go toe to toe with just about like isn't Texas is just different. I think Texas is bigger and just got more people. But I mean like you look at New York and it's just like yo like between New York and Houston that's the 1-2 in at least in the East in the U.S. I would think. But then again like yeah so we'll see. I gotta get the boys together. I'm gonna get the boys together.
Dude, throw together a group chat and be like, fellas, guess what? I got a gym. You look at Delaney. This is coming together right now. You
Business
invite him
plans.
down to the gym and you guys shoot some content at the gym. Look,
Taking notes.
that's right. It's perfect marketing for you to get all of those hitters in the same video, and then go out for dinner. Make it a day. 'Cause some of these fellas are traveling in, but between Gavin and Bob and all you guys together, fuck man, New York, please stand up. New York, please stand up.
It's gonna be
Please
fun.
stand up.
Yeah, it's
How
gonna be
how
fun.
with you guys being? Is it all New York with you guys that spread out, or like the suburbs? How does it work?
I mean, so Taylor and I are the closest ones to each other. Like we're legit 10 minutes. There's no excuse for me and Taylor. Like
And what part of New
Gavin,
York do you guys live in? Are you guys
so
in
like
New York?
Westchester. So like right outside the city. So like
Okay.
I'm 20 minutes out of New York City. Um, so like we can get to the city like that, but we're not in like the heart of New York City. Bob, I think, is Brooklyn. So like give or take traffic, that's like that's like 45 minutes, maybe 35 you're speeding, maybe an hour 30 you hit traffic. Um, Gavin's like fake New York now because like he's from New York, but like he's out in Jersey now. But like
Hmm.
he's still part of the crew. But then you also got like if I just thought about like you got Joy, she's in Buffalo, I
Oh no
think,
shit.
and
Is
that's
she
like
really?
that's like that's Canada damn near, but she's Buffalo, right?
It's 90 minutes from me. She
Yeah,
might be closer to me than you, dude. That
no,
is
no, no,
that is
unequivocal.
canon.
Like you could drive to her faster than I could fly to
100%.
her.
Buffalo is Buffalo is
It's
literally
Canada.
yeah, it's
It's
Canada. It's
Canada.
fine. That's Canada. Right around Niagara Falls and that area. That's literally I get there like bam, in like an hour. I'm in Buffalo.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's close to shit.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Eastern states. Yeah, man. Friggin' this year. So this is major. You opening up a gym and everything. God knows that's a hell. Are you doing this solo?
No, 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 no. Absolutely
Yeah.
not. I would kill myself. Like there's no way.
That's like
There's
you
zero,
would be so
there's zero,
stressed.
there's zero way that I'd be able to do that. Like mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. Like the gym. I mean, gyms they're god awfully expensive. And so the story around that is The current gym that I go to, Mount Vernon Barbell. Um, about maybe like so this is like 2 years in the making, you know. About 2 years ago, the current owner like came up to me and like, hey, I see what you're doing like powerlifting wise. I know that you're committed to like this, but also know what you do, kind of in the business world and this and the other thing, and like you have a good aura about you have good common sense. The gym has to move because the building's getting bought. Like the physical building that we're in right now is getting bought, torn down, going to get turned into housing. Um, and he's like, would you potentially like the opportunity to, be a part owner, buy in, fix some things, do some stuff around? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like I know the demographic, I know the people. Like I've been here for what 5, 6 years now, and I know that it's already cash flowing. Like it's already a positive business. So it's not like you're doing it from scratch. Like building a gym from scratch
Yeah.
scares the shit out of me.
Yes.
Scares the
At least
absolute
you
shit
know
out of me.
finances. You could look at the numbers, Myth. Let me see. And you would know, like, okay, this looks healthy or not healthy. That's good for you.
And so it was really like a no-brainer kind of for me. And so it's just been like 2 years in the making of like, is it actually going to happen? Is it going to happen? Could you even find a space? Because real estate in New York has been absolutely just like shit.
Oh,
Um,
I bet.
especially like, so the one bad thing about buying into a gym that's currently like functioning is that you do not get to choose where you build it, right? Like it's in Mount Vernon, it has to stay in that Mount Vernon area. I can't go to
Oh,
Peekskill, I can't go to White Plains. We can't go to can't go to Albany, can't go up to Brooklyn near Bob because you already have a current membership base. So if you move too far from that current membership base, you're going to
yeah.
lose it. So now you're building a gym from scratch. Like you just killed yourself, right?
Yeah.
And so there's that catch 22 of like you're stuck in this area, and then you have to find real estate in New York, which is already tough in that area. And so that was the biggest part. And like all jokes aside, and I can kind of say this now that like things are starting to move along, like the gym almost like completely shut down. Like we almost weren't able to find like a location to move the gym to in time, and we're actually already late. So there's going to be an interesting next couple of weeks or so, because of just just everything that happens. But yeah, man, it was an opportunity that kind of just fell in my lap, just grace of God, and just you know you never know who's watching you while you don't think you're being watched, and like the opportunity
Mm.
came, and I'm like, hell yeah, like let's run it, let's do it, and I think it's also going to help me with some other projects that I potentially have working on too. So I'm excited for it. Yeah.
Dude, how do you have time for anything these days? You
I
must be.
don't. To be honest with you, like all full transparency, people think that I'm way more efficient than I am. I just like do as much as I possibly can and just hope that like the culmination of what I've done is enough to like push things over, right? Like it's just like, all right, I'm overwhelmed. I have no clue what to do. I'm just gonna do something and then hope that this something is like one of the bigger like things that need to get done so it keeps on moving. Like um that's one thing for me because I've gotten to the point where I'm doing so many things that like it gets extremely overwhelming at times. Like I don't like I do very little socially. Like I'm just starting to like calm down a little bit and be like, all right, D, like it's okay if you like go to your friend's house and like chill and play video games for a couple hours like on a Sunday. Like
Mm.
it's okay if you watch the football. Like I watched the full Ravens game for the first time. That's not a playoff game for the first time in probably like 6 years. Like
Damn.
today. Like what I'm saying? Like usually I just like check the score like on my phone. Um but like I'm at that crossroads where it's like I'm like doing so much that I can't do it all myself, but I'm not quite big enough that I can really just get people to do everything for me. And so it's like it's that break point. But things are moving along, and I think this will also help, which is also a blessing. Why I got the opportunity to partner with somebody, one that's already established like the business, and I can just kind of build on top of it because there's a lot of just like leaky faucet type of things that like if you tighten that up, like who knows what could happen, right? Um, because I can do the stuff that I'm good at. They could do the stuff that they're good at. Like everybody can just stay in their lane, and it just makes it for like a really good cohesive relationship, and see what happens from there. So it's it's
Dog,
it's super exciting.
literally leaky faucet shit sometimes. I talked to a gym owner. He didn't have the crew that you got. I don't know, like your entire team, but he got in and didn't realize, like, no, listen, legit water overflow. You're in there 3 o'clock in the morning with a fucking mop, and
Yeah,
you're like, it doesn't matter. What do you got to do at 8 o'clock? Wow. I guess you're not sleeping, huh? Because you got the call, you got to show up, and you're doing it. Like it becomes, it's an animal in and of
And
itself. Like there's
the
always
old location
stuff.
has flooded like 10 times. Like,
You see what I'm saying?
because
Like it
yeah,
is that if you don't have it sorted out, being like, okay, listen, I am not that guy because I can't be, but if that jumps off, one of us has to be. So you kind of got to sort that out ahead of time. Otherwise, it's like, look at, I'm running like you have a whole nother business. It's like I cannot not show up the next day to my other clients or whatever. Something jumps off during the day. I can't be the day to day physically there guy. Like you got to work it all out and know what you're
yeah,
getting
that's
into.
just it's just not me. It's just not me, right? Um, but I can be like the front facing guy, right? And like the idea guy and like kind of like the back end infrastructure type of thing. But like I'm definitely not the like the row machine breaks. Good luck. Like like
You're like, you show up, you're fixing something like Delaney. That's not the row machine. We're working on this for 20 minutes.
yeah. The cable row machine breaks. I'm just gonna be like, yo, use the dumbbells. Like,
That's right. You're like,
like
look at,
this ain't
I just know the
this looks like
squat
none of
rack.
my business.
I know the squat rack, the bench press. I haven't been had a cable row in my program in years. I'm fixing a hamstring curl machine. I don't know what the shit. I'm wasting
Yeah,
time. This is not
yeah,
my
no,
job.
not at all, man.
This
Not at all, man. Not at all.
is, it,
So that's
and
the
what you
cool part about it.
and what you said too about I do enough and just hope that I hit the hot points, the main priorities, and keep it moving forward. You know how many people in life don't realize when they picture these big, successful businessmen, insert whatever, Bezos, Musk, or whatever, they don't realize a lot of these people are just human. We assume they have their shit more together than they do too. You know, you just said, man, people think I got my shit together on a level that probably I don't. And I'm like, my dude, I think almost all of these guys are like that, where they just know how to get enough going, direct certain things to people on their team if they can, push aside things that aren't number one right now, and just do enough to keep the animal moving forward because the animal gets so freaking big and it's got to eat. It's difficult, man. You
Yeah, man.
can't do it all. Things will slip through the cracks. That's
Yeah, man.
life.
100%, 100%. And it's funny. Um, I forget. I didn't read the book, but somebody's telling me about like how Elon Musk, for example, like he almost went bankrupt like 3, 4 different times. Like,
Yeah.
and he's arguably probably one of the most powerful men in the world with all the stuff that he owns and he's built and all this stuff. And so a lot of times with business, it's just luck. A lot of times it's just like, yo, who can keep their head above water the longest? Like I've had
Mhm.
plenty of times where I'm just like, yo, bro, like I don't like I don't think I'm gonna make like how do I like, yo, fuck. I'm like, did I make the right choice? Like, like, damn, like I remember when I was working at CBS like 7 years ago, like, yeah, I might should have just stuck with that. Like, you have those
Yeah.
days, and then you have those days where you're just like, yo, I'm on top of the world, like nothing can stop me.
Right.
And that's just like the ebbs and flows of it all. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think, but something that I did learn, and I just like to like study everybody that I'm around. And so sometimes I'm like, whether it's a powerlifter, whether it's a business person, whether it's just like anybody on like the street. And what I've learned that a lot of times, like the most successful people that I've been around, they're hyper focused on like the main task, so everything does fall back to the main thing. And all of them are overwhelmed, and they're just like, I just have to keep the engine moving. And 90% of the time, if you can just move forward,
Mm.
like the fires and everything that burns along the way, like you have insurance, you could pay for it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like it'll work out, but you just can't stop. And I think sometimes like people, even myself included, especially with like recent stuff that's happened, like you just get so like overwhelmed that you just like do nothing. You're just staring at the wall and you're just like, fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do? Like, like Hail Mary on a football game, in the last play of the football game, you throw a Hail Mary, like you gotta throw it. Like you can't just stand there and not do nothing. If you throw it, you got a shot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you launch it, you have a shot. But if you just take the sack, you don't. And that's how it is. Like I found like in just business and life sometimes. And my uncle said something really interesting to me like the other day, and he was just like, you grow up and everybody makes you believe that there's a blueprint as to how life goes, like that there's rules to life. And like eventually you wake up and you realize that nobody has it figured out. There are no actual rules, and you just have to Like you just have to do, just create, you know. And it was like really interesting, like not to get on like a side tangent, whether it be like school or college or like
Oh, I
sports or
love side
like
tangents.
whatever. It's just like you realize you're just like yo, like you grow up and you think like okay, like go to school, go to high school, go to college, get a job, die, like retire 65, die, and just like you realize that more and more the older you get, that it's just like there actually is no rule. Like there's no actual like you have to do this or there's a punishment. It's just you create, like just find a way. Um, and so like it's a scary thing to think about because like you're literally like there is no blueprint, right? But there's also like a relieving thing to think about because it's just like, well, if that's the case, then like I can just create whatever I want to. And like let's see how far we can go, you know? So it's interesting. There's like double-edged swords to everything. But I won't get on a tangent there.
No, dog. We're gonna hang in this tangent for a second there, Playboy. I love some life talk. Listen, I remember when I was a kid, I would see adults, and you assume they got it figured out.
I
They know
know,
what's going on.
I
They got
know,
their shit figured out.
I know.
Life is, you just assume this, right? And then when you're like early 20s, you assume guys in their 40s, 50s, whatever, like the older crowd. But as you get older, when you start becoming an adult, deep into adult, and you're looking back and they're the young guys, you look around at like everyone you know, like adults, and you know what's going on with their businesses or what's going on in their private lives, and you realize none of us got it figured out. None of us. We're all just freestyling every day. And we have plans that change year to year. And we make mistakes and crash and burn and come back from the crash and burn. And we've and whatever plan you got, let's hear something else. Whatever 5 year plan you make, by year three, life is going to be like, let me fucking kick you in the balls and show you what really this next 5 years is going to look like. That's life. That's
Right,
life. Make your best plans you want. It's not
right.
about,
Yeah,
yes, you should plan, but life will teach you. It's about how quickly you could pivot and handle what life throws at you. And realizing, like your uncle said, coming to the realization, none of us, you're gonna die and never figure this all out. It's not to be figured out. I don't think it's to be figured out. I
no,
think it's just to be maneuvered and riding a wave. You fall off the board and you get back on your board and keep riding. And right until you take that bad boy right into shore. But it's high tide, low tide, it's wild. But you're not going to. When you're younger, looking at other people, like, yeah, I still don't know what's gonna happen in the future. I got plans. I got strategies. I'm gonna pivot a million times. I'm gonna pivot.
yeah,
Um, that's the truth of
100%,
it.
100%, 100%.
I
Everybody's
mean,
just freestyling.
here's everybody's freestyling, man. Friggin' like oh man, friggin' also in terms of like making decisions, wondering if you made the right picks. So I mean, I've said this before a million times about when the split happened with USAPL and IPF. My goodness, did you make the right decision? You went IPF route, and now you got like two world titles, world record, two Sheffield appearances, crazy experience that nobody can ever take from you. That's it. That's on your resume. And
Absolutely.
I was talking to someone in the DMs. So you probably heard. I say probably. I know you don't pay attention to the powerlifting world, but Shell Backlund, who was a 74 kilo, like he beat Taylor back in the day. He came in silver against Perk, and for Sheffield, he's cutting down to 66 kilos. Now
Oh, okay,
Shell,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
now Shell from Norway, he just posted an update at where he's at. So 66 kilo world record is 710.5. Okay.
Okay.
Shell is down to 70.7 kilos, and he just did an SBD day 825. Okay. 825 is good for an 83. So 825 as a 66. So let's say, and he'll water cut from 69 in a bit. So he only needs to lose a kilo and a half. So
Mhm.
we're close. Let's
Yeah,
say his 825 comes down to like 810. We're talking he's 100 kilos over the world record, my friend. 100
that's
kilos over the
stupid.
world record.
That's stupid.
It's stupid. And
Damn.
so I was talking to someone in the DMs. And we were talking about when Shell comes, how the landscape of the 66s changes. And previously, everybody was like, when Daniel Clements comes over to the IPF and he's hit as a 66, 745, which is phenomenal total at 66.
Yeah.
Phenomenal total at 66. It really is.
Yeah.
But when Shell comes and we're talking 800 kilos, that to even get 95% of 825, and I'm not saying he'll get 825, but let's say
Yeah.
he does that, we're talking you need to do
783.
780, yeah, 84, 83. And we thought Daniel Clement's 745 was, oh my God, that's so big. Dog,
Yeah, that would piss me off.
784, 80,
That would piss me
784
off.
to get to 95% just to make Sheffield. And so when we
That would
talk
piss
about
me off. Oh, I'd be so mad,
this
man.
is it. This is where it's like,
Have me punch you
Dan,
there.
dog, this is where it's like when you're Daniel, and like I'm sure other things in life, there's reasons, right? But it's like, man, you just wish like it doesn't just because you show up doesn't mean you're going to win it, but you want to just show up if you got the opportunity because doors close and God knows
You
what's going to
never get him
happen. You
back
don't
again.
know.
Never
Like
get him
you
back again.
when the split happened, you're like, no, fuck, I'm going, and I
Yeah.
want a world title. I want that. Well, let me see what happens. That door shuts. You don't know,
Gone.
maybe, but
Gone.
like it's like go, man. Don't pause. Don't chill. And now I'm like it doesn't mean Daniel Clements can at some point win a world title. Doesn't mean that he's a young guy. It just means though the way we see powerlifting, a freak comes out of nowhere, drops down or comes up, and the whole game changes. Or just hey, how you like me now? I just developed into a monster, and it's like God damn it, it's tough,
Yeah.
man.
No, it reminds me of like it's my favorite quote. Like I say it to myself all it's a long one, but I say it to myself like all the time. Like whenever I'm like trying to make a decision or trying to figure out something or whether I want to quit or stop or like take time off or whatever. And it goes to each of us comes a special moment in our lives where we are figuratively tapped on the shoulder and offered a chance to do a special thing, unique to only us and fitted directly to our talents. What a tragedy if that moment finds us unprepared or ill qualified for that of which could have been our finest hour. And like listening to that, like listening to like you unfold that for me, because I really didn't know. Like this is like that like I feel that like and I don't like me and Dan haven't really spoken, but like I'm just thinking like 83 type moment, like let's just say like I don't know, freaking Bob cuts down all the way to 83 and he still hits a 9 whatever the hell, 83 total and nobody moved over and now we finally moved over and now it's like, all right, well, now just to qualify for Sheffield, you got to hit 900 as an 83. Like I'd be sick to my stomach. Like like
Yeah.
I would be sick. I would be so ill that I don't think I would even be able to get a like stuff like that would just make me absolutely ill. And like that's what like it's one of those. It's like yo, what a tragedy if that moment finds you unprepared or ill qualified for that of which could have been your finest hour. You know.
Got to,
Uh,
and that could be like so for anybody in powerlifting, period. Just in life, it is literally don't maneuver yourself as though these opportunities are going to keep coming. Well, next year, I'll look at it next year. No, you literally got to act like it's only this year because it might be.
yeah,
Because it
yeah,
might be. That
yeah,
might be it. You have to go. Don't tell yourself. Everything changes next year. The whole board gets rewritten next year.
yeah,
Nobody's safe. Even Perk comes on here. Perk is a phenom, and Perk is like, I don't take nothing for granted. He's
yeah,
eating whatever food's on the table. That's why he came over. He's going to Sheffield. He's doing, I don't, whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Don't look at Taylor, man. He was the king. Got injured, and all of a sudden, everybody's, you're done.
Disappeared. Yeah,
You're
yeah.
done. People are talking like that about him. You got to move quickly and do everything you can without
And just be
regret.
decisive.
You
Yeah,
know, and I say this like, look again, Daniel might have a million reasons, anyways. I'm just saying, surface level when you see these
yeah.
things, like, God
Surface
damn,
level without context. You're just like if
yeah.
theoretically speaking, if you're still competing, there's no difference between competing in the USAPL and the in powerlifting America from like a economic like standpoint of like you get a membership, you go to a meet, like that like it's the same thing, right? You do local
Mm.
meet nationals. This one is just local meet nationals worlds or Sheffield, like um, which was the big thing when we talked about this when like I was about to be like all the other boys and just go USAPL because I was like, oh yo, like
Mhm.
if Russ is going there, like I'm gonna go there And I remember Joey calling me, and he's just like, "Yo, bro, like, just think about it." And like, I sat back, and I was just like, the best thing that could happen, I go to USAPL, is that I win nationals. I finally get to, pop off on social media for a day. Everybody forgets about it after the King of the List podcast drops, and then you got to run it all over. Like, like that, like that's what happens, right? And I'm like, yo, the best thing that could happen if I go this other route, win a couple world titles, go to a Sheffield, go see the
all over the
world,
world.
go travel and speak to other countries, about powerlifting and all that. And I'm just like, there, there's more opportunity. Just like, why not? Like, like why? Like, there may not be another moment. Like, this may be my last year, 2 years ago, like whatever. And so that, especially like with big decisions like that, like I always look at like the upside, and obviously there's risk to it, but I'm just like, the risk is like, okay, I like, I just compete and I don't go to work. Like, there's no risk in comparison to like Powerlifting America, USAPL. Like, you do a meet, you do a meet. This meet might get you farther, and then if you don't make it, then you just like, you're in the same spot as you would have been if you had won the best thing on the other end, right? And so it seemed like a no brainer to me. I know that everybody had their other, everybody has their own way of rationalizing it and their other reasons, but I guess hindsight 2020, and we made the right
Thank God.
call, and me and
Thank
you had
God, man.
quite a few posts, post big meet chats, 3 o'clock in the morning, dog
Dude,
tired, just
I
talking.
was so it's funny because Joey hit you up and then I hit you up like the next day without knowing Joey talked to you. And I
Yes.
didn't even know you yet. Like now this is years before, right? This is the beginning
Yeah.
of our journey. And I just hopped in your DMs because I knew you came in second with 822.5. I knew your potential. And I knew Russ was going USAPL route. And you're both with Joey. And I just shot this out to you like, my man, you ever think about like you're both with Joey. If Russ stays USAPL and does his thing, you have a major opportunity here. Like, you know
Yeah.
what can happen if you like this is we all know Sheffield's coming. This is not small. Like,
Yeah.
I think you should really think about this and carve out your own. And then as time goes by, Russ says openly, I'm the one who made the wrong decision. I should
Yeah.
never have gone USAPL. I lost time. I lost opportunities. The viewership was lower. The opportunities was lower. Russ was honest and said, I watched Malta and he was DMing Joey. He was DMing me and he's like, I made the wrong decision, man. You got
Yeah,
to
no,
try.
me and him talked. Me and him talked. Like we talk relatively often. And we were joking around about it. And I even before Lithuania and everything like went down or whatever, I was like, yo, bro, not for nothing. Like, thanks for coming back for Lithuania because Malta was lit. But I'm just like, yo, I'm like, yo, Malta was lit. Like, uh, but yeah, no, I mean, it's just it was interesting to see like look at it now, 2020 vision, and anything could have gone any other way, right? And just see like how everything unfolded, and I'm just happy that I made the choices that I did, and I've had the opportunities, and I can continue to have those opportunities, and yeah, man, like life is a crazy thing.
I wanted to ask you about because the way things did unfold too. First off, beginning of 2024, you broke the world record at Sheffield.
Yeah,
So you took Russ's world record. That's yours. Then Russ returns to Worlds. You're not there. Now that's tough because you're the two-time world champ and you didn't have the opportunity to defend your world title.
for
But
sure.
Jurins was.
Yeah,
And Jurins defeated Russ head up with like 845.5, I think it was, which is
yeah,
obviously you hit 842.5. That's obviously full well capable within your capabilities. I don't got to tell you. That's
yeah,
just a
yeah,
couple kilos away.
yeah, yeah,
So previously, when people were like, if Russ was here, and that was kind of a bit of the shadow that it was over you. And in 2024, you had the opportunity at Sheffield to hit 845 on a world stage. This is world
mm,
championship caliber officiating, obviously, at Sheffield,
yeah,
and
yeah,
took the world record. And then at Worlds, I think everybody saw, and now they would think, well, all right, look, with all due respect, maybe he'd win one of those years. Maybe Delaney, maybe they split those years Delaney won, but they are
yeah,
contemporaries. Like if you
yeah,
were in Lithuania, my dude, you 845, yeah, you'd be right up in there, wouldn't you? You'd be right up
yeah,
in that mix, huh? Now
yeah.
I think the narrative, well, let me ask you, like, how do you feel about it when you watched it? What were you thinking?
So I didn't watch. I actually didn't
Oh, you
watch. I
did?
couldn't. No. I refuse to watch. I refuse to watch powerlifting in general, unless like you're one of like my friends, like you're like, hey, like tune in. And I would actually had full intention on watching the World Championship, but it just made me so sick that I wasn't there that I just like I couldn't like I just couldn't like watch it. I'm just like I'm like Ryan's gonna post up the totals on KOTL later. Like I'll see it when it pops up. Um, and there's actually a long one. Because
Go
there's so
ahead.
much that happened before and after, right? And so I'm at work. I'm actually like I closed up like a work meeting while the 83s like were finishing up, and my DMs start blowing up, like just blowing up out of nowhere. But mind you, like I had already decided I wasn't going to watch like so far like 2 weeks in advance that I didn't know that today was the actual like day and like the time. Like I'm like oh maybe it's Tuesday, maybe it's Wednesday, Thursday. It's sometime in this week. I'm gonna get it. And so I'm like yo what? I'm like did I post something I wasn't supposed to post? Did I say something? I'm just like, what happened? I'm like, I didn't compete. Like, why is my phone blowing up like this? Like, you start getting worried, like, yo, did I fuck up like something, like, bad? And so, like, it's just like, yo, did you see Worlds? Da, da, da. Like, Russ lost. And I'm like, no, he didn't. I'm like, nah, for real? I'm just like, all right. Like, I was like, yo, like, what was the total? And they were like 845. And I was just like, no, it wasn't. I was like, no. And I was like, no, it fucking wasn't. No way. And so then I finally like opened like in like everybody posting about it. And I'm just like, I was just sitting there and like I felt like sick to my stomach because I was just like, damn, I was so close to and not that I would have won, right? Because here's the thing, Russ told it 860 like right before that, right? And so it's the day, it's the circumstances, it's the judge. Like I've always said this, like this is the thing about sports is like you do not have to be the best to be the best on that day, right?
Mm.
But I also knew going into Worlds that that particular meet was going to be the world's best opportunity at beating Russ. Right? Like I had
Really?
already done the math in my head. Like I was like, if this is when like this will be when he fucks up, and I'll say
Really?
why. Right? Yeah. No,
Okay.
I saw it. I wasn't surprised. I was surprised at the total that
Mm.
that won it, but I wasn't surprised. And the reason for that is because you know prior to that, he did his 90 meet, right? He finally came back down. He did the USAPL thing. The USAP. Oh no. Like he finally came back down. I think he might have did like a local meet prior to that. No, actually no. I think he went straight from 90 and he was just going to do the 83, 82 and a half. Nationals. Had to drop out of that because of the whole like 12 month
Right.
blah 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 blah. And so at this point in time, from that, he was multiple years out of just like traveling outside of like the U.S. He hadn't had any real head up competition when it all shook out, right? Angelo, Sean, like everybody, like they're all dangerous if they have a great day. Like we're all dangerous if we have a great day. But like when the cards shake out, like and you look at it, it's like okay, it's always been a runaway, runaway, runaway. And so there was never that pressure or like that iron meeting iron like in the actual flames. So you get rusty. And so I'm like, okay. So in my mind, I'm just thinking, okay, mentality wise, it's like, okay, you're not used to having to go pound for pound, blow for blow, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, like Muhammad Ali, just best versus best. Then you have to add the travel to it. You haven't done that in a while. Then we're not expecting Jurins to do what he ended up doing, right? Because just up until this point, like Jurins's performances have been extremely just erratic, right? Like you just don't know. Like it looks great, and then it's just like disappear, right? Like when I
Mm.
was hurt in Malta, it's like Jurins looked great, and they're like, yo, he's got like 10, 20, 30 kilos on what he did at the whatever the local whatever he did, and then he shows up and he's like, he wasn't even on the podium. He's like disappeared, right? And so it's like, okay, how do you plan for somebody that hasn't consistently done that 8 for 9 or 9 for 9, whatever it is that he ended up doing, to not only hit that 9 for 9, but also PR total by 10, 15, whatever kilos, right? So the like you're not fully aware of who you're up against, right? There's a little bit of complacency there. And then you add on the fact of, and this is where Sheffield comes into play. I know that he only wanted to chip the world record, right? If he had to, and he felt like he had to, he like the plan was to push higher. But like, yo, we'll save that if need be. But I'm not going in there thinking that I have to go and smash the world record like I did at USAPL at PA Nats. and I don't want to because then it's going to hurt my money on the back end. And so all those culmination of things, and this is why I said, going into Malta, why I was like, I told you, like every year, like I just have this feeling, like even when things are going bad, like everything's going to be okay. When I was like, I listened to Jurins podcast, and Jurins like, oh yo, if I have to break the world record, to win Malta, like I'm gonna do it. And like just him saying if versus I'm just gonna break it, I was just like, you're not mentally prepared to go to battle, and therefore something's gonna fall apart, and then it ended up doing. Like it was that same kind of thing there. And so I was like, I hope it doesn't happen because that's my brother, right? But if at any point in time there's a chink in the armor, like this is when it is. And I was just like, man, like I was this close to being able to be a part of that. And like who knows? Like I was still coming off of my injury, so I mean, I barely made it to Sheffield. We talked about that. Like, I literally barely made it to Sheffield. Every number I hit on the platform was like 50 pounds more than what I did like in training. Like, I was a mess the entire time, but I was healthy enough to pull it together. So who knows? Like, you travel a little bit farther, whatever the case may be. But it was just like, damn, like I was right there. I could have been up in the mix, and that could have been, that whole thing. On top of the fact that how it all went down for me, because there was a point in time where we were thinking that I was going to get the alternate spot because we knew Cayco was taking off time. I was the closest one to when it came to like the alternate pool, but we couldn't account for Ashton and Bob splitting weight classes, and that's what pulled me out of like that automatic alternate that like Gavin's been using for the last couple of years. And like it was just the perfect storm, and I was just sitting there, and I was just like I was just so close, and I was like, there was nothing more that I could have done. I barely was healthy enough to compete at Sheffield. There wasn't much more that I was going to be able to do. But I was like, if I just had more time, like that hurt. Like as a competitor, I know I laugh and I'm smiling. I'm like I'm positive, but like losing and like missing out and like the competitive like that keeps me up at night. Like it just kills me. And so like seeing how everything unfolded, and I was just like, I was right. Like I knew that this would happen, or this opportunity was there, and I was just like, I just didn't have the opportunity to be a part of it. Like like losing, I'm fine with. But like I didn't have the opportunity to be a part of
That
it.
goes back to what we were saying earlier. And this wasn't you saying no, but some people not taking opportunities. Dude, let me throw
Yeah,
this out at. There's an alternate universe. If you showed up if it was a 1-2, you and Russ, and if you won worlds in you sensational battle, you, Jurins, Russ, if you won worlds, that'd be your third world title, and you defeat Russ as well as Jurins.
yeah,
Guaranteed, you're talked about as the GOAT. 83.
yeah,
Guaranteed. You'd be
yeah,
first off, you'd be the first 83 to win 3 world titles, and you'll have done it defeating Russ head up, who's right now taught the GOAT 83, I
yeah.
think. And you'll have
Absolutely.
defeated him head to head for the world title. You'd be GOAT.
It would have been done. It would have been done. Honestly, to be honest with you, talk about like how your life changes and all the other thing. Like this would have been my last year of powerlifting. Like that occurs, I was done. Like I was done. I was gonna like if I had won going to Sheffield just because like Sheffield's dope, done the World Games, and I would just been like peace out. Like this is it. Like I don't care what happens. Like I'm out. I got stuff I got to do. Um, like that was the plan. Like me and Taylor talked about it like tons of times. Like back when we would like work out sometimes, and like that made me sick knowing like I wish that it was like 860, 870, 880, whatever the case may be, because I'm just like I wasn't healthy enough in time for it at time yet. Like now I'm
Would have been
healthy enough,
easier.
but
Yeah, it would have been
I
easier.
wasn't I wasn't healthy enough in time by that point in time. Like I'm just now like 100% again. Um, but yeah, like seeing that just made me sick to my stomach, and I'm just like, damn, man. It is what it is. Like you just never know. Um, but yeah, no, that was tough. Like I remember like leaving Sheffield, like top three finish, made a couple of dollars, broke the
It's
world
huge.
record,
Top
and like
three of
I was
Sheffield.
and I was still sick to my stomach. I was just like I didn't do enough. I was just like I like there's just too much up for chance. And like I remember being in like that moment where everybody else would be like celebrating happy, like pop, and I'm just like I was like I left the door open. I was like there's nothing more I could have done like under all
Right.
the circumstances. But I was just like and then just seeing things unfold, 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 and then I'm like, there's a chance, like maybe, and then and it's just Yeah, it just
Let me throw a quick reminder. I remember talking to you at Sheffield. You were so badly injured, and you're not on social media a lot. You got to be on more, by the way. You got to hire somebody or something. But anyway, it's a whole nother. But
I'm working on it. We'll talk about it.
yeah, but you were so injured, and this was no lie because this wasn't. You were keeping this in the background. You weren't even putting this out there for people in the community to have an excuse ready. This was back internally inside talk. I was at your remember I was at your hotel room. I got like a sleep aid off you or something.
Yeah,
And I remember catching an update from you, and you were like, dog, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I won't know until the day of where I'm at because my last couple of weeks was not good. And you were like, day of, I'm hoping for a miracle. I just hope it all comes together because last year, the first Sheffield, literally this close from breaking the world record. It was as close as you get. And you're like, I just hope it's not like last year or repeat, whatever. Like, I'm praying for a miracle. I show up on that day and it just comes together. And I mean, it wasn't quote unquote enough, as you say, but on that day, it was enough for a moment of
it was
breaking the world record.
yeah,
If that was in 2024, if you only had one international experience, my God, Sheffield was
yeah,
still special. It was still, I
yeah.
mean, you remember afterwards,
I
everyone
wouldn't
in the
give it up
DMs
for
be like, all
anything.
right. Everyone all of a sudden was like, all right, fuck. We said the cloud of Russ got a little lighter.
Yeah,
It wasn't a dark cloud anymore. It wasn't raining out.
yeah,
There's some sun shooting through. There's a little bit of sun shooting
yeah,
through
yeah,
here and there. And people all of a sudden put it, you breaking the world record changed how people viewed your two world titles. It
yeah,
100% did. It
yeah,
made people be like, okay, if they're like, he's winning world titles because Russ isn't there. Well, hang on. Now he also broke Russ's world record. And then later on, even though you weren't there at that world championship, Jurins winning with 845.5. And Jurins afterwards, by the way, said, I think Delaney's the GOAT, 83. I had him on the podcast after he won the world title because if you look at his resume, the two world titles and the world record, but afterwards, I think people view you and your career differently after 2024.
yeah,
Being like, no,
yeah,
they have to. Because
yeah, yeah. You
if
gotta
they looked
respect
at the
it. Yeah,
world championships that just happened 100% like you weren't there, but no one's going to be before when Russ comes, he'll just clean it up. And whoever was saying like Delaney's winning because Russ isn't there, when they watched how 2024 unfolded, you can raise your hand and be like, do you still feel that? I, I, do you still feel it?
yeah,
And that takes nothing from Russ. Maybe Russ could win one or two of those years or one of those years and you guys split it or it comes down to the last deadlift, but you guys are there. You guys are
yeah,
there neck and neck. You guys are battling it out. It wasn't it changed people's perception. It was an important year.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you're 29. You're actually younger than Russ, but you're like essentially the same age. He's 30, you're 29. It
We're the
ain't
same
like you're
age. We're the
retiring.
same age. Yeah, yeah.
So it ain't like you're retiring. It ain't like it's over. And the German story is a remarkable story and very inspirational because my man is 35 years old
For
and
sure.
got kids.
And
35
he's
years old and
still,
got kids. My man,
and now he's hitting
it,
the stride.
he's hitting PRs now in his mid 30s. So for everyone else, and he's been in the game forever. These aren't newbie
Yeah,
gains. He's new.
yeah. He's been in
Listen
the
to
game twice as long as I have.
well,
Yeah,
he was at the World Championships in 2018. Like
I didn't even know
you
what
guys,
powerlifting was.
exactly. So you guys 100% can continue to keep leveling up. I want to ask you too. What's your opinion of the rematch at Sheffield between Jurins and Russ?
Opinion as in like who's gonna win?
Because everything you said about I believe a couple things happened for the Jurins victory over Russ. Like everything you already said about Russ. I do
Yeah,
believe he not I don't want to say arrogantly didn't view the 83s as a threat, but honestly, coming into 2024, it was him for 5 years since 2019. For 5 years, it was him by a decent chunk, and it
yeah,
was always him in a spread. And I think you can't help but be a stitch complacent when he would show up injured and still win. Like he would show up and be like, oh Jesus, I'm not doing too good, and still
shoot, I was
win.
injured and when so of course he like
Right.
he got there a day before the championship started because the plane got delayed. There was a lot of things that happened, right? And I was it yeah it was the perfect storm.
And also, let me
Um,
throw this in here before. Let me also throw this in there before you answer though, because I do want to say. But on the flip side, also Germans. because there's two pieces that moved in this. Russ got a little complacent, and Jurins ascended on a level, yeah, turned it up to a level so quickly. And he started working with Christian Anyadokun from the 93 from Britain. And Christian's a phenomenal lifter himself. He won
Like
like
as
three
a
national titles.
coach,
And what's that? Sorry,
like as his coach now.
as a coach now.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, 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 okay.
And and Christian is a phenomenal lifter who's won like three national titles, three different weight classes, but a phenomenal coach.
Mm-hmm.
And Jurins turned it up at the exact moment. A week later, went to Silent Worker and hit 852 and a half. Like my man is flying high. And I
Mm-hmm.
realize the fellas now, Joey B and Ade, are hitting in the 860s. Jurins is not far behind, 852 and a half. We're talking like that's a bench attempt away, right? So he's
Yeah, yeah,
right there as well. Like Jurins turned it on as well. So it wasn't just Russ became complacent.
yeah,
So there's a
yeah.
couple of moving pieces. Now, having said that, now that I set the table for you for this answer, okay, but Jurins is not taking his foot off the gas and he's going to continue to apply. And Russ now is no longer complacent. He got chin checked and
Yeah.
he took an L with the rest of the world watching. Now what's going to happen?
I have to go with Russ on the rematch. Um, for a couple and for a couple different reasons, right? If if you look historic, so the same thing that we say, like, hey, we didn't expect for Jones to have the meet that he did. Like, we also didn't expect for Russ to have the meet that he did, right? There was also, I think, if I look back, I think there was like a missed squat attempt. It might have been a missed bench
Right.
attempt. Like, there's a couple other things that went wrong. You have to also like flew in a day, like literally got there a day before the meet started, like what 12 hours worth of travel, like blah blah blah. The UK is way closer than Lithuania. Um, like we can't forget that he had a sloppy meet at USA at Powerlifting America Nationals and still hit 860. So I mean, so we look at the Jurins 852 and we're like, okay, well, he's hit the 860, so they've both been still been in that range. And so I think it's going to come down just to who died, like who hits all their attempts. But I do believe that if we just go off brute strength, that Russ has the advantage of just being stronger. I think that Jurins has now become far more efficient, and the thing that's become a super weapon for him is that his deadlift has now just become like phenomenal as well, which
Yeah.
means he gets to dictate the final, the final say. Um, but I just think there's some like I know the feeling that I know the feeling that I have, and I'm sure we'll get to that as well. Like I know the feeling that I have after a loss, right? After winning, I feel sick. Like like broke a world record at Sheffield. I'm sitting in the hotel room like, fuck, I needed to do more, right? And so I know the feeling that I get after a loss, right? And I've spoken to both Jurins and I've spoken to both Russ enough to know like their temperaments. And this is not like discrediting Jurins. I just think that we didn't see the best of Russ, and so I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking like 880, 890, at Sheffield, from Russ or even Jones, to be honest with you. It just comes down to who we think is going to make all their attempts. And if we just look historically over careers, like you can't discredit that, Russ has had the most consistent career of almost anybody in the IPF, like outside of like Cayco. Like Cayco was probably the only other person that was a more consistent lifter when it came to just hitting all his attempts, right? And John's just phenomenal, which is cool to be able to chill with my boy John, which I'm sure we'll get to
Yeah, we'll talk
in
about that later.
in
But yeah, yeah.
Malaysia. Um, and so I'm biased. He's a flex boy. I love both Jurns and Russ. Like I see Russ as like a twin brother, and I see Jurns as like an older brother. Um, but if I had to put my money down, I'll put it on Russ. I think that closer travel, not complacent. You know exactly what you have to do. There was life stressors that were also going on prior to that, which was also pretty public as well. There's a lot of like just shit happening, and I think a lot of that's cleared up. And so when you have a clear mind and all you have to do is just study for the test, and your opponent, although they are turning it up, like kid, work, like other thing, like this is all Russ does. This is what Russ, like you have to, assume that they're going to be ready. And so that's why I put my pick on. Like it could go either way, but if you said, hey, you got to go on FanDuel and put some money down on something, like I sleep well at night just saying, hey, like Russ is going to pull it out.
How about this? A bit of a wild card thrown in the mix now. Tim Monigatti, you're another one of your old rivals.
For sure.
Um, moved back to 83 in at New Zealand Nationals. I don't know if you seen this. So he's going to Sheffield, and he was going to
Yeah.
Sheffield because of the regional invite.
Yeah.
But at the New Zealand Nationals, as a small 83, because he just moved back to 83, so he was like 81 and change. He hit 845.5.
At
Did
New
you?
Zealand Nationals?
Yeah, did you see that?
No.
845.5. Now that's New Zealand. It's not Sheffield. And when you come from New Zealand, you travel like crazy, blah, blah, blah. However, he wasn't even at 83 yet.
It
If
doesn't
he
change my
becomes
pick.
85, if what's that?
It doesn't change my pick.
But it's still spicy enough. Put it this way. For sure, beating Jurins would be tough. However, hitting 845.5 when you're only 81 kilos, if he gets up to 85 kilos, he could be in the 850s.
No, I mean he could have been in the 850s like 2 years ago. Like I think so. I think it's also the thing. Like a lot of us, like myself included, like every like top 10, 15, 83s in the world. I think the thing that I don't even think this thing that separates us anymore is just like, do you have the strength to do it? It's just like, do you have the composure to do it when it matters, right? Um, and so I've competed with Tim. I've watched him compete. Um, I would, for me it doesn't change anything. Like I wouldn't I'm focused. Like if FanDuel, you had to pick one of the three. If I had to pick one, Russ. Second one, I have to pick Jurins. Like I think it's going to be the battle of Russ and Jurins. Um, Especially knowing where they're both trajectories and all that's going. Um, and I just think I don't think it matters. I don't think it's enough. Yeah, maybe more time, but I don't think it's enough time.
I think the more seasoned Tim gets, with the more showdowns he gets, the more comfortable he be in these pressure cooker situations, which is good
I
for
mean, he's
him.
been doing this for a while now, no?
A hot minute, but it seems, you know, the more, because it's for some people it's always going to be tough.
Yeah.
He's not as out there as you guys. He isn't. He's a super nice guy. He's not hopping on a lot of podcasts, and I think because he's not entirely comfortable with it, which is fine. Like he's a phenomenal talent, but with it comes a lot of eyeballs, a lot of pressure. Jesus, Sheffield is massive. I don't got to tell you. You've been there
Yeah,
twice. It's
So
going to feel different.
and that's the composure part, right? And that's the part that I think like I have to see it, right? Like he's capable. Like he's 100% like I don't know why he went to 74 in the first place. Like he was capable of winning the Malta World Championship at 83 if he wanted to go, right? Like I'm like why'd you go down? Um I think it's the composure. Like I think that Russ and Jurns are far more composed. Um, Also, like I think there's also something, and this is just me getting like I like the psychology of people a bit, and so for me, like if I'm studying, like you look at like a football player or anything like that, I'm studying. I'm just like, so you went to 83, you went down to 84. Like wasn't he 74 before you told me? I think I remember in the podcast you told me he was once 74 too,
Back in
something
the
like
day,
that.
maybe before he ascended, maybe I have to
So
double check now,
so
but yeah.
74 up to 83, back down to like a top level 83 to go down to 74 to then what a year and a half later go up to 80. I'm like you're not even decisive on what you want to do, right? And so I think that just comes like to me that just comes down to like the mental aspect of it, the composure side. Which I think for this, if we're just talking this Sheffield, then I think it's going to be Russell Jones. Like I 100%. I think it's 100% going to be Russell Jones. It's just going to be like where it all falls. Um, but I mean, dude, I mean, Tim's always been strong. Like I don't think he ever should have left 83. You know, I really don't. Like one of like Malta could have been his. Like who knows? Um, but I think it comes down to composure. You make that cut. Now you're trying to come back up. There's what 2 months left. I don't know when that New Zealand Nationals was, but there's like 2.5 months left. And so yeah, you can gain some weight, but there's the first time you feel certain weight, something feels funny. Like I remember the first time I put 700 on my back, that thing felt like it was just, like trickling down my spine. Like like you just feel the vibration. It feels different. Then you add in the it's the Sheffield stage. You only get one shot. Then you're going up against Titans and Russ and Jurins. Like I just think there's so much to ask at one point in time. And going back to like the same thing where I say like if you just go off like historic, like whatever. Like I was watching the Ravens game, they're talking about, oh well, this guy makes 80% of his third down conversions and da 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 and this and third. And like I look at Russ and I look at Jurins and I look at Tim, and it's just like Jurins has closed out meets, Russ has closed out meets, Tim's never closed out a meet, you know, and so it's a lot. It's a lot to ask. Like you're asking for all the stars to align, and so that's why like it's got to be Russ or Jurins. It's just a matter of like who has the best day. They're both like Russ is Russ. Jurins is on a tear right now. He finally got his stride, and like, his deadlift is pissing me off. um, uh, but but yeah, man. Like that's just like what I see. I think we fast forward like another year from now, and like you start to get comfortable and get the stride in. Maybe if we had fast forward this meeting, like made it a year from now, then different. But I just not enough time. You're asking a lot of somebody, big stage. Like I just haven't seen it, right? Like as a spectator, I just haven't seen it.
Here's one thing that does help him. Everybody's looking at Russ versus Jurins. All the attention is Russ versus Jurins. All the
Yeah,
anticipation is Russ versus Jurins. I think a lot of people don't even know Tim's going. I think a lot of people don't even realize Tim Monigatti's competing. I think a lot of people don't even realize he's moved up to 83 when they tune in. So he's been pretty quiet. I've reposted his total, but he's not promoting it yet. Hopefully he does as we get closer because we got to get those views. But on the flip
yeah,
side, in terms of pressure, that probably helps him because he's shouldering no pressure. All the pressure's on Russ endurance. He's going to show up. And it's one of those, this is what people do. And we've all done it in certain things in life. It's one of those
yeah,
deals where look over there, pay attention over there. When I show up, if I do well and I surprise you, fuck, you'll be talking about me and thank you. But if I don't do well, you weren't looking my way anyway. It's okay. It takes a little pressure off.
yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah.
and the problem is, I recognize that with things that when I do it, I recognize when other people do it. But this is a moment, and my man, you gotta dive in. You gotta dive into this and seize it and be like with your chest out. Tell people this is not Jurins Russ. This is Jurins Russ and me. And I did the same total at Nats that won Worlds. And yes, I'm in the mix. And you gotta throw yourself out there. But I don't know. To your point, I don't know if that's him, but I would love for him to turn that corner.
And I'm not even talking about like you can be like it's not the like being loud or whatever the case may be. Like I don't judge people off of that because I usually like I personally think like usually the loudest people like
What do I mean
they're
about
hiding
that?
something,
I
right?
just mean, I just mean in terms of showing up on the day and handling the pressure and handling the moment.
Yeah.
Being loud before puts more pressure and makes it a harder moment to handle. You
Hmm.
can make it an easier, less pressure day by not talking too much.
Yeah.
It's true. This is why people
Absolutely.
don't talk.
No, absolutely. 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 Yeah, yeah, I
And
agree
so
with that.
I think half of it's that. Half of it is literally, I just don't want too much eyeballs on me. It's okay for me to look, for you guys to look at Jurins and Russ and let me fly under the radar for everything you've already said, where it's like, hey, I feel a little more comfortable like that. And look at man, he's still a world silver medalist in two different weight classes. That's amazing. Like he's still a
Yeah.
phenomenal lifter. You
No,
know what I
that
mean?
and I'm not even like all strong, like capable of doing 860 plus, like 100% believe it. Like I said, he never. I don't think he ever should have left 83. Like
Yeah.
100% don't think he should have. Like he was there. He was already there, right? Um, on that stage, Russ and Jurns and Tim, like the amount of time between like the World Championship and Sheffield to then make that bulk. You did the New Zealand meet, so that like whether you like it or not, it's going to take a little bit out of you. You had to disrupt training just a little bit, even though you might not have did like a full whatever. And then New Zealand to the UK versus UK to the UK and US to the UK.
Mm.
It's just a lot. It's just a lot. It's a lot in a
Here's what
little
I,
bit of time.
here's what I do like about his drop to 74. Because I know what you mean. If he never left, he could have continuously been building upon 83 and who knows where he'd be now.
Yeah.
I totally 100%. What I do like, if there's any kind of silver lining to it, no pun intended, he got a silver at Worlds. So he's got medals in two different weight classes at
For
World
sure.
Championship.
That's
That's
sick.
very difficult. That's
That's
pretty.
sick.
That's pretty sick.
That's
Like
sick.
it's not a world title, but silver.
I mean, it's damn
That's
near, especially
sick.
when you're going up against Taylor, and like
He beat
it's sick.
Taylor. He
Like it's
beat
sick.
Taylor at the World
It's sick.
Championships.
You
Yeah,
know.
I do like
Um.
that. But then on to your point, if he never left, where might he be now? But it is what it is now. He's young. He's got time.
How
Whatever.
old is he?
Sometimes
How old is he? I
that's
I
a good.
forget.
I'll look it up. Let me look it up right now.
We're all
That's a good
probably the
question.
same age, give or take.
You're
Um.
probably or you got to be around. Let me. I think because what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna misspell Monigatti like 350 different times. Let me God. Let me see how to spell it. Tim Monigatti. Yeah, I spelled it right. Why is it not? Hang on. Let me look him up in open powerlifting here. He's got to redo his bio because it says 74 kilo. Oh, it's probably Timothy.
Yeah, he didn't want you to find him, so he deleted himself off the
Yeah,
open
see, he's
powerlifting.
sneaky.
He's
He's
sneaky.
sneaky, bro. Oh, he's 27. He's a baby.
Yeah, I mean he's
Dude,
got he's got hella time.
he was only 80.6. So this happened in September, the New Zealand meet. He was only
Okay,
80.6 kilos. So he's got
he's
two and
got
a half
tons of
kilos
room.
till he's got two and a
He's
half
got
kilos till he
tons of
fills
room.
it out, and another 2 kilos on. He's got like 4.5 kilos.
2, 3, yeah. It's a lot
My
of time.
man,
It's a lot of.
we'll
It's
see
not
what
a lot of
happens.
time. Yeah, I might be 100% wrong. I'm like, yo, shit, man. Like, but yeah,
I got to
that's
get a
how.
hold of him,
That's
man.
that's
I
that's how
want
I
to
get my scout. I get my scouting pick on.
get your scout on, man, and figure out what's
Yeah,
going on.
my scouting picks.
I gotta sit this kid down and I gotta talk to him, man. I want to figure out like what's going on. What's going on with you? Let me pick your brain, man. You're an interesting dude. You're a
Don't worry. Next year
phenomenal
he's gonna be a
lifter.
90.
He'll be a 93 by the time I talk to him, man. He's all over the place. I don't know. He's collecting medals all over the place. But the
Facts.
craziest would be if he beat Russ and Jurins head up at Sheffield.
Oh,
That
dude,
would
that would
be stop. That'd be
the
crazy.
the internet would explode. Like actually, it would just spontaneously combust into flames. It was just like everything would implode.
How does it feel to see the guys that you? So when you won these world titles, these were the guys that you were competing against. When you see them doing this well, is it a point of like it adds clout to your title wins now? It adds like when people say, "Who did you beat?" You're like, "Have you heard of Jurins and Tim Monigatti?"
I mean, when you put it that way, like yeah, but like I don't, I haven't never like thought about it like that. I'm just like, like these are my, contemporaries. Like these are my opponents, and like I just see everybody's equal. So I don't know. Like now that you say it, I'm just like, oh yeah. Like now, if I said Jerns or Tim or whatever, like a lot more people know people are getting into
For
powerlifting
sure.
than the Sheffield, the whole day. So like the answer is yes, but I've never like thought about it that way. I'm just like, what's done is done. Like you move on. This is the next one. Like we gotta go and do it now. But yeah, no, I guess the short answer is yeah.
And we have an interesting situation in 93s. Let me ask you this. So right now, we have someone who most would consider the GOAT, Russ, with his 2 world titles, 5 years, a world champion, Jurins, a world record holder, Ade Omasakin, and the guy who, yeah, Ade, oh my man, I'm dropping news on you. Ade Omasakin at the Western European Championship from Britain hit 861
Oh
and
yes,
broke
yes,
the
yes, yes,
world
yes, yes,
record.
yes, 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 yes. Okay, 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 okay. I'm
Yeah.
thinking like I'm like I'm okay, okay. I'm following now.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
So we have Russ, the world champion, Ade Omasakin, who's the world record holder, and then we have Joey B, who has the biggest total, but he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't hold a record or a title, but he has the biggest total.
Mm-hmm.
Who is currently not all time, who is currently the number 183?
It has to be Jones. Like you're talking about currently. You're saying
Just
like
current.
2024 this year we look at absolutely nothing else. It has to be Jones. Like there's no question about it. It's like it really shouldn't be much of a discussion. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. And this is like I have no dog in the fight for it. So if you look at who you beat, right? Like Jurn has beat the all-time hardest opponent in 83 history, right? That happened in this year, right? So you can count that as like a boom. He is the world record. Was the world record holder until that thing happened. And I did hear about it because I remember like I was like there was like a bunch of like back and forth. Is it the world record? Is it not? Like da 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 this and the
Mm.
third, which I found like how do you not know like what's what? Like that's weird. Um, like you did it overseas, you did it at the world level, you did it judging, you did it head on with the greatest opponent in the 83s to ever live. Like you are the world champion. Like it shouldn't be a question of that, right? Like it has to be Jurgens if we're talking just this year. We fast forward to next year and like all these different heads collide and all this other stuff. Something 100% totally could happen, but I don't. I think it would be disrespectful to Jurgens for anybody to say anybody other than him as actually the great. Like you could say your favorite, right? Not the best, right? You like I like it was the same. It's the same reason when you got me on the podcast after Sheffield, and I was like, I'm not the best because I haven't beaten Russ, even though I took the world record. Like there's just something to be said. Head on collision, same day, same judging, same circumstances, same amount of pressure, all of like it, I just find it would be disrespectful to Jurgens to say anybody else but Jurgens. I don't even think it should really be a discussion. If we're only talking this year, talking all time, it's still Russ because he's won how many God knows what. Um, so like that's just my criteria when I look at it.
How about this? If you were allowed, as Benjamin Banks calls you today and says, I have one wild card. I'd like you to give it to somebody, but you can't give it to yourself. On the men's side, who's getting your wild card?
Cayco.
The return of Cayco. So listen, you were with him in Malaysia. What's going
Yeah.
on with Cayco, man? What's the deal? What's the update? What's he been up to?
Look, he's been getting healthy, right? So him and I were in very similar boats. In the sense of just like so he was banged. Yeah, he had a lot of small nagging injuries in a bunch of different places. I had just one big injury that was just crippling. And so he just decided that he wanted to take some time off, not off, but like not be so like in the gauntlet of like world Sheffield, Sheffield, world, Sheffield, world, Sheffield, world, local me, like and having to just run, and like put band-aids on stuff. And so he's gotten himself really healthy. Um, it was really interesting to get the chance to be one on one with Cayco for the first time because every time we see each other, it's like, "Yo, what's up, bro? We about to go to war tomorrow. Good luck. Do your thing. You need to lift off. Okay, peace." So like, I know Cayco. If he saw me, I saw him. It's all love. But up until like the Malaysia thing, um, like we didn't really know each other. We were teammates because we had the same coach. I like you, you like me. You seem like a cool dude, and that was about it. But also getting a chance to like look in his eyes and actually see his overall mentality up close and personal, understand a little bit of the things that like he was like working through from like an injury standpoint, seeing his lift, seeing his training, understanding like how just like dominant like we talk about Gustav and Gustav's my boy. Gustav is top five funniest people in powerlifting. I'm putting that out here right now. I was with him in Sheffield. We did the shoot for the hoodies and all that. Like Yuki is number one, but like
He's hilarious.
Gustav is hilarious. Like he like top five funniest people in the IPF. Like I got to throw it out there. Like we talk about Gustav being the GOAT because of recent events, but up until that point, I'm just like as a power lifter, like if I had to model after somebody, like I would want to be John. Like like what was it like 3 or 4 years without missing a lift? And he was
It's
winning all
insane.
tight battles, like just a killer, . And so I just think that all things considered, understanding the circumstances, looking at his training, he looks like he's like on top form. Um, Knowing how consistent he is, knowing that everybody that's on that Sheffield stage at 93, he has beaten head on collision at some point in time. Like I just think that he was on the podium at Sheffield last year. Like how can't you give him how can't you give him the opportunity, right? If I can't be selfish and give it to myself, like how can't you give Cayco the opportunity? So that's who I would give it to.
In Cayco, listen, he did an SBD day in the gym and he hit, I think, 910,
Yeah,
something like that. It was crazy. It was a
yeah,
huge people. You never know where people are at with their training mentally, if they're where they're at with the whole all of the competition. And
hmm
for him to have posted up that 910, now everybody's like, holy shit. People start talking about the division moving past certain people. That's not the case. We just don't know. Did he tell you when he's coming back, if he's coming back, or is it still in the air?
I mean, are all the wild card spots taken for Sheffield? Like
Yeah,
they've all been
he
announced.
ain't doing Sheffield, but is he doing PA Nats? Are we gonna see him at Nationals again, do you think?
I would assume so then. I would assume so then. Yeah.
Dog,
Um,
watching
he's a
him,
dog, man. He's a
he's
dog.
a
He's a
dog of a
dog.
dog. And he's been on the podcast and we've had moments. Like I told Cayco at Sheffield, because at Sheffield, Cayco told me he thinks he's gonna step away for a minute and finally address some things that needed to be addressed, like injury wise, whatever.
hmm
And he's come out the other side of it and looks phenomenal now. So it all worked out for him. But I told him, dog, if you never come back, I will never forget you. And
Yeah.
I was not lying. I'll
Yeah.
never forget Cayco,
Yeah.
no matter what happens from here on out.
Yeah, man. 100%. Yeah, I would give it to Cayco. I would give it to Cayco.
In terms of this year to last, because last year, Sheffield, you missed the world record, but you came close, had a phenomenal showing at Sheffield, and you won the world title, defended it, won it for the second time. This year, took the world record at Sheffield, but weren't around for the world championships. So it was almost a bit of a flip flop. Compare the 2 years for me for you, this year and last year.
And it's so are we saying like compare the 2 years all the way up into this point? We also like talking
Compare
about
all
Raleigh too?
period.
Or are we
Tell
talking about
tell me everything. Difference between last year when you were at Sheffield, the world championships and everything's rocking and rolling, and then this year. And tell me, like, compare them and what you've learned from both of them and the whole nine.
yeah, yeah. So Sheffield last year, 2023, so the first Sheffield ever. Um, like I was just out there, right? You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what to expect. Like I was having a ball, I was having fun. I was healthy, right? I was healthy for that one. Um, and missing the world record, especially just like the way it happened, and I was like, I was so damn close, and it's just like, hey, you just gotta tighten up and like close it out. Again, just be a closer, right? Like that hurt because like it was still the whole looming of like, well, Russ was here, then this would happen, no, this is here, then I'm just like, yo, like I know what I can do. Um, but then coming out of Sheffield and being hurt like directly after that meet, and like literally like, and we talked about it, like this isn't like new, like I was literally like about to drop out of Malta. And I'm just like, again, like what a tragedy if that moment finds you unprepared or ill qualified for that of which could have been your finest hour. And I'm just like, I might never come back again. So
Mm.
like I wouldn't have been able to stomach, even if I had gone to Malta Worlds and bombed the fuck out. I would have been able to stomach that more than like not going and just being like, what if I had gone? Um, and just being able to like close it out, like injured, like badly injured. It felt good, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, yo, I'm fighting on one leg, but I'm closing it out. We're getting it done. We're getting it done. We're getting it done. It was frustrating at the same time because powerlifting is one of those things. Like, so the same reason that you say, hey, like you name like 4 or 5 guys and like, oh yeah, who's the best right now? And I'm just like, it shouldn't be a question. It should be Jurins. The thing about power, I mean, different time frame, different dynamics, different judging, different stages, different pressure, like all these different things. But we like, because there's a total and a number, we just arbitrarily say, well, what you did in January is the same as what you did in September, is the same as what you did in June. You traveled this far, but we're not going to matter. This guy had this, like, we like there's all these different variables. You guys weren't head on, so you didn't have to worry about a chip or this and then you could just go free. You know, so there's all these different dynamics to it that I knew that like at the end of the day that how I was going to be judged was solely just going to be like, hey, we look at this total, we look at that total, this is what we think, da da da. The Sheffield appearance did help me in the sense of like, hey, you knew where I was at, and people knew that I was hurt to a degree. Um, but there's still just this like looming like just itch that you have, like in like you want people to just get off your back, right? Um, the remainder of 2023 going into 2024 for Sheffield, it was it was probably the most like grueling mentally thing that I had to do. Because like we talked about it and I showed videos like there was literally like a 2 or 3 month span where I was literally squatting like 70 to like 150 kilos, like in pain. Like you know what I'm saying?
It
And
wasn't good.
so like it
Wasn't good.
wasn't good.
Wasn't encouraging.
It was so bad that Pete Spence from SBD purposely never DM'd me while I was prepping for Sheffield and tried to DM Joey, and Joey couldn't even give him a straight answer. Like, it's like it was so bad. Like, I was like, hey, Joey, like, if I do this rehab and like I whatever, like, do you think I'll be okay in time? And he's just like, I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't even like, oh yeah, like you got it, bro.
I
You're gonna make it.
hope.
It was just like, I don't know, bro. Like it's like you're fucked. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and so like mentally, because I knew it was at stake, I knew that the whole crew was coming back. I knew that this was going to be my shot to try my best to fend off so I could get an actual chance to go 3 for 3. Um, at Worlds and the World Games was coming along, and like I truly had this vision that I was going to go to Sheffield this year, do what I had to do, go to Lithuania, win that, go to the World Games, and retire at the World Games. Like I was out. I was like, I have stuff to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it got to the point where I'm just like, I'm balancing so many different things that I'm like, yo, mentally, I need to let go of something. And I'm just like, if I do this, first 83 to get 3 world titles, only 83 in history to go be at every single Sheffield, world record total breaking, first person, first group of people to go to the World Games Raw. Like, there's nothing else. There is literally nothing else that you can ask me to do. And so I was just like, I can leave and I can just be at peace. Um, and so like I saw that, but I felt like, and I felt for a while like I was just in this cage, just chained because I had this adductor injury that I'm just like, yeah, like how am I going to see this dream through if I'm literally benching, more than I squat, like for reps, like I'm benching more than I squat, like it's not even close. I'm benching more than I deadlift, like legit, and I don't bench that much. It's not like I'm benching 600-700 pounds,
Yeah.
like I took 485 for a spin, but like that's like nothing, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm literally benching more than I squat. Like my boys, like what I'm saying, who are like playing around at local meets are like, yo, I squat more than you, I bench more than
Yeah.
you
They're like,
squat.
I
Like
should be
what I'm
going to
saying? Like
Sheffield.
yeah, what I'm saying. And so like it was so like that whole piece was so mentally grueling, but it's just like chip away, chip away, chip away, chip away, and then literally at the very last hour, like at the very very last hour, like I'm on the plane, and I'm just like, I believe that I'm going to be okay. Like I believe that like I'm going to do what is required of me to see this through. And usually every time I get that feeling, it all 100% goes my way, right? And this time it like halfway went my way. Like I got the record, I got that off the back, like it was done. I actually podiumed, which I didn't expect to do because I expected everybody else
Nice.
to do a whole lot better. Um, I'm mad at myself because if I had gotten the last pull, I would have gotten first. So I actually be at Sheffield. That's a whole nother thing, right? But so it was like that was a cool thing, but I just didn't account for like the whole Russ and the Ashton and Bob like splitting weight classes. So then like that alternate spot like disappeared, and so I was like, all I need, like in my mind, I was like, all I need to do is chip the world record. I think it'll be enough to get the alternate spot. That'll give me enough time to be healthy enough that okay, I can do like like I can go like 850, 855, whatever the case may be, and it might be enough, right? You just have to be perfect at Worlds. Like you might not have your best day, and it might be enough to be in the conversation. Like I'll be healthy enough. I'm still hurt, be healthy enough. And so to see like the feeling of doing everything that you possibly can under the circumstances and just feeling like a caged like animal that just can't recruit the strength that is there, but you just have something pulling you back. Like that was probably one of the like worst sickening feelings that I ever had. like you know, like it was just terrible. And so the thing is like it's interesting where it's like the first Sheffield, I missed it, but it was enough that I'm just like, all right, like I could, like there's enough, like everybody can get off my back. I'm going to Worlds again. We're getting the world record, and so like there was peace in it, right? Even though I fell short, like short. I mean, I got a world title, so like, but fell short of what I really wanted. And in the next scenario, I was able to push through something that was virtually just like crippling. Like I told Pete like 5 times. I was like, yo, I wrote an I resign letter to you like 5 different times on DMs, and I deleted it at the last minute. I'm just like, I'm gonna give myself 1 more week. Like I literally typed it up in his DMs like
Holy
on four
sh!
different occasions. I'm just like, I can't go to Sheffield. Like I'm not going to embarrass myself out here and like squat 100 kilos. And then I was just like, 1 more week, 1 more week, 1 more week, 1 more week, and I'm just like, yo, let me just see this through. Like who knows, right? Um, to then break the record, miss out on worlds. It essentially be 2.5 kilos over what I did at Sheffield, and me feeling like, damn, like I could have been healthy enough in time to at least be in the mix, like like it's right there. Um, and then to try and like budge my way into Sheffield from the wild card spot. So now like I'm outside the club and I'm trying to get in, right? And I've never been outside the club. Like it's always just been first round ballot, first round ballot. And so now I'm trying to pry my way in, not really knowing how it's going to shake out because the wild card could go to anybody. It's not just like, like Gavin broke the world record. He's not going, right? Like officially, like he has it. Um, and still not being 100% healthy, but I'm just like, yo, all I got to do is like chip this. I've got two. I beat Jurins. Jurins beat Russ. We need to see the three. It's going to be, it's a good enough story to tell. Um, and then for that to also get skewed because the Joe thing happened. And so I'm like, fuck, like this wasn't expected. Now I have to change the strategy. So it goes from, okay, like I just got to chip it to, okay, I go all out. You know, if I had executed enough and hit the 870 that we were thinking that we are trying to do, then it wouldn't have
Tell
been a
me about
problem, but
that.
I didn't execute.
Tell me about SBD Rally because your training looked phenomenal leading, and actually trainings look phenomenal afterwards. I don't want to
Because
skip
I
ahead.
needed more
We'll talk
time.
about
I needed
okay,
more
okay. Was that
time.
because you
I needed more
afterwards
time.
you would have post and it was phenomenal. It's you squatting maybe 320 kilos or something fucking crazy. It was 700 pounds or something. And the caption was, you all have left me no other choice. And I was like, that's a fucking, first off, that's a fire quote. Because, because Russ took your spot to worlds, Jurins took your world title, Ade took your world record, and then Joey B took Raleigh. And you're like, fucking everything's getting taken from me right now. And
Yeah.
you're like, you all have left me on no other choice. And now you're going to drop the hammer. And I was like, that was a fire. It was a fire caption because I was like, oh shit, that was hot. And you squatted something phenomenal. I was like, damn. Um, so, anyways, tell me about Raleigh and then tell me where you're at now. But tell me about Raleigh first.
Yeah. So Raleigh, me and Joey were going back and forth and we're just like, yo, like, do we hope that Sheffield Podium took the record, blah, 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 is enough to get the wild card spot to not have to compete again? Because really what we needed, because we were like, yo, we need that full runway to like really get to where we need to be, like health wise. Or do we risk it and just say, hey, we hope we've done enough to give a good resume to get picked, right? Or do we do a meet and like do whatever it is that we need to do in order to, to win, to like get that wild card? Um, and for me, so usually I'm just like, I think that I've done enough. Like, like I could have done PA Nationals like the following year when it was the whole like Sean Jin was there, and I was like, yo, I'm just gonna do what I can do. I'm not gonna put myself through the whole back and forth, is whatever. And I was just like, you can only risk the dice without playing a hand so many times and win. And I'm just like, let's just play the hand. I was just like, I know that even if I'm not 100%, like I could hit like 850, blah, 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 this is enough, like this and a third. We'll see what we could push, especially after the world championships. I'm like, yo, all I need is like 845 and a half or 847. Like I can do that 100%. Home soil, haven't done it in 3 years. I can do that. That's not a problem. Like, whatever the case may be. Then like the Joe thing happens, and so our game plan changes a little bit because like we kind of disrupted training to do it. It was kind of like a pit. It was supposed to just be like a pit stop to then get to the real thing and like go. Cause I'm like 85, 90% of the way there. Like I'm almost like 100% there, but just not quite yet. Um, and so I'm like, all right, cool. Like, you know me, I don't know much about Joe, and this isn't like a like I don't care about you thing or like an arrogance thing. It's just like I believe, especially in powerlifting, there's really no scouting. There's no like, okay, if, when they run cover two, he has tight hips, so every time he rolls to the left, all of a sudden you got to come down. Like it's just like you're as strong as you're gonna be, I'm as strong as I'm gonna be, just lift, right? Like that's Joey's job to scout and like put me in the position, right? And so like I've just taken the stance of like I just don't watch what anybody does. Like I don't watch it doesn't change anything that I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not altering my training or whatever. Um and so, like Joey let me know is like, this and a third, blah blah blah. And so I'm like, all right, cool. Like if I have to push, like I 100% think that like if we need to go all out, even though we don't want to, like I can do 870. Like it shouldn't be a problem, right? 694 squat, bench was flying, like 474 bench. Do I need to do on dead, which I think have been like, mid seven, which is fine. Like we're there, we're good. Like it should be enough, right? Um, and then like Raleigh comes around, the Microsoft outage happens, and so I instead of flying down to Raleigh, I drive the 9 hours down to Raleigh. Thank God I had enough time, so like I could like it wasn't like it was a disruption, but like I left enough time for myself that I'm just like it wasn't like I was coming in the day before the meet like Russ did, right? Um, I still feel good. Um, and so like I'm squatting, we're doing the thing, first attempt, second attempt, third attempt, and I remember Joey coming up to me, he's like, yo, like what do you want? Like, I'm just like, yo, like we planned for 694. Like let's take the 694, let's stay on track, do the like I'm good, like I feel good. And like, he got like recon from like some of the other, because like a couple of the flex people like come in to watch and they're like, oh, I think this, I think that. Some of the judges tables, I think this. And I think he ended up putting like the 680 something instead. Um, and I was just like, nah, man. I'm like, yo, like, why didn't we go 694? He's like, no, like we just gotta make attempts. Like, you can't if we miss an attempt, then we're out because like obviously Joe's here now. We weren't expecting that to be there. Um, and I'll fast forward to then come back. That moment, even though how everything ended up playing out, it wouldn't necessarily have mattered just how everything ended up playing out. But that moment when I look back on it was probably like hindsight 2020 was like it makes you sick, right? And the reason for that is this, and it's so funny because the more you win, the more you have to lose, right? And so even though it was just a random local meet that meant absolutely nothing, which you might have won a couple grand if you won it all, like paid for your flight, right? Like it means nothing, right? But like you win a couple world titles, you have a Sheffield, you have a world, like every time you go to bat, you feel like you're putting all that on the table. And it's just like, yo, like winner takes all. Like, and if you lose, it's taken from you. Even that's not the case. And so when you're doing the world championship, the thing is whole like just do whatever you have, like just don't lose, like make the attempt, like be safe, be cautious. And for the past couple of years, we've done that. Like if something goes wrong with squat, we pull back on bench and da. It's like doesn't matter. We're just here to win. We have to win. And so when you look at it, when you look back and like it doesn't flow that way, and you look at the things when you start to play a little bit safer, like it leaves this like pit in your stomach because it's just like you no longer have the okay, but we did enough to win to fall back on. It's like I left it there. And the one thing that I miss, which has now come back to me, the one thing that I miss is that I'm no longer afraid to lose. Like all I want to do is win, right? And I think that's also, to going back to like this is the that like Lithuania Worlds was the perfect time for Russ to go up against Russ because there was so much to lose. You play not to lose when you're at the top at some point in time. Like you don't take the same risks that you don't pull a Gavin, miss your second attempt on deadlifting, and go up on the third because it doesn't matter. If you like, you know what I'm saying, like everything matters, right? And you're judged for everything. And so that was probably one of the most heartbreaking things. Like it, just, like I think about it, it just makes me sick to my stomach because it was just like I played not to lose when I've always been in a position where I just play to win. You just balls to the wall, just let it all out and just see where it falls. And like that sucks, man. Like that sucks. Like I rather bomb out than like play it safe. Like like in that like I could finally like being on both ends of that spectrum. Like you play it safe, you win enough. You play it safe, then you finally like. I rather bomb out than play it safe, right? Just go all out. It because there's just something like internally like it just feels better, right? And so like that was heartbreaking. So we're already behind the eight ball a little bit. Like I still hit the 680 whatever the hell it is in kilos, blah blah blah. Bench comes around, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. Cause man, oh man, I was messing that bench up. Like my squat and my deadlift hadn't come back yet. Cause I was like, adductor, takes a little bit, but bench was going crazy, going crazy. I'm hitting 474. I'm hitting it like that, like 100%. Um, and like for the first time in a little bit, because usually it's the squat that I have trouble with, and that like we have to pull back on bench because of it just to be safe. And like bench didn't necessarily show up the way I was supposed to. I think I just matched like the 463 there, whatever I did at Sheffield, and not to make excuses, but I know it to be true because everybody else that was also there had the same complaint. Whoever was giving handoffs for the bench on like it was just bad. I took my opener and I was like I almost like lost it and dropped it on myself because of the way it was. I was like, so the first time I walked up for my third attempt and I was like, oh, the same exact way that you did it for the second one, like that was perfect. And the spotter looked at me and they're just like, I don't know what I did, and I was just like, oh fuck, like what do you mean you don't know what you did?
He's
What do
like,
you mean?
don't worry about
I'm
it.
like,
I'll figure it out.
yeah, I'm like, bro, I'm like, not for nothing. Like, this meet wasn't that big. It's not like it's not like 1,000 people. It's just like, yo, like, what do you mean? What you don't know what you did? And so like that, like that also didn't help. Especially if like I'm trying to use bench as a weapon, and then I wasn't able to. I think it was my right knee. I wasn't able to lock out the right knee, the way that I was supposed to. It was a little soft there, and so I just wasn't able to close it out. Which I think even without the bench and like the lower squat would have maybe put me somewhere in like the 850s or something like that. If it, which was still short of what we were trying to do, because we lost ground on the squat and the bench on that end. And so it was a culmination of things that didn't necessarily just like go right, which was frustrating because I wasn't 100% healthy yet, but I was healthier than I had ever been, post for the first Sheffield. And so I'm sitting here and I'm just like, bro, I'm like, this is where I get caught, like some random backyard local meet in North Carolina. It was supposed to be Raleigh, but really it's Durham. I'm just like this is where I slip up. Like this, like this is how it happens. And
I
it
lost
was.
and ever.
I'm just
Yes.
like, I was just like, are you kidding me? I was like, are you? I was like, this is disgusting. I was just so ashamed and appalled and just mad at myself. Um, and I'm just like, yeah, I look back and I'm just like, like how possibly could have, whatever. I'm like, damn, I should have just sat out and just like played let it see where it played out. Maybe I make it, maybe I don't. But again, it's all hindsight 2020, right? But yeah, I mean, like that's how the meet played out, and I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, yo, like one, you got to execute, Delaney. Like you just have to execute. And then just two is just like like what went wrong, like what could have been better, right? Um, and so, yeah, I mean, like training was going better and I was trending in the right direction. Again, probably like 90%, 85, 90%. I was like, I knew I needed a couple more months before I'm like, okay, like we're really back, but like you don't have it. Like I'm trying to push my way into Sheffield, right? And so like you do what you can. But yeah, no, it was frustrating. I'm just like, I just remember sitting there. I'm just like, yo, like how, like I was just mad, just mad, like punching the wall. Like I was mad. Like it was just tears. The thing about me is I I carry like the emotion that you see on the platform, like the happiness, the anger, the sad, like that's like genuine, real, like emotion, right? So it's not like, oh, I plan to do this dance, and so I'm going to do it because I think it's going to get clicks or views. I mean, I don't repost anything anyway, so it's like I don't really care about the view. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's not like it's because like that's what I'm feeling. It's the outward expression because I love the art of competition. I just love competing. If it wasn't powerlifting, I'd find something else. Like I love that, and so I give everything, and so at the end of it all, like I feel every last drop of it, and I just remember getting to the end of that, and I'm just like. like what could you have done? Like how did you fall so short of what you were supposed to do in the easiest meet that you've ever done in the last like 3 years? It's just like how could you like fuck that up, right? And so that was frustrating. Um, and yeah, and then I got back and I was just like 4 weeks later, I was like, oh yeah, I'm a little bit healthier, and I was like, started blowing up, and then 4 weeks after that, hit another squat PR, started blowing up, and then I'm just like, fuck, like I just needed 2 more months, like you know what I'm saying, um, like but now we're healthy now, and like for the first time, the silver lining of it all is like for the first time, I have an off season that I can be healthy for and train for, and so I'm just really excited because like I know like in my heart what I can do. And for the last like 2 years, year and a half, like I've been like chained to this wall, just fighting on one leg, just trying to like, half mass, defensive fighting. And now I can finally go on the offensive things. But also, and I remember Cayco said this after South Africa Worlds, because that was the first time he lost in like God knows how long. There's a there's a piece that comes with losing where there's like the worst has already happened, and so
Mm.
now you can just go, right? You know what I'm saying? Like now you can just go, and so like I'm excited, I like I'm ready. Like nationals could come up like now, and I'm ready. And so that's exciting. But yeah, no, I've never hit squat PRs 4 and then 8 weeks after competing. Like my body's usually wrecked, so I'm just like, yeah, I'm ready to go. So I'm excited. We're finally healthy again.
Few things here that strike a chord with me. First off, yeah, your 4 meets in a row, you were either world championship, Sheffield, world championship, Sheffield. Like it was 4 meets in a row, world championship or Sheffield. That's insane. That is the pinnacle of powerlifting. And you weren't just showing up, you were winning world titles and breaking world records on the biggest of biggest stages that powerlifting has. So when you say, like, I showed up at a local meet, you were like, I got caught there. I understand where you're like, unexpected. And then also when you say, you know, I get what you mean where when you show up as like a two-time world champion, world record breaker, and all the accolades you've achieved, you show up, every other 83 is looking at you like they want to win over you because you are who you are. That's what it is.
Yeah,
I think they can't take away what you did. Like they don't, it's not on the table. So if they win, now they're a two-time world champ. Like not quite that. However,
yeah,
because you are who you are. You've done what same with like Russ. He's already done what he's done. Now Jurins
yeah,
has a title. He's already no one will ever take that away. However, to get a win over you is where they'll be like, fucking, when someone's like, for instance, Joey B, Joe Borenstein, it's a local meet. He did 865. And
sure,
people are like, yeah, but you did it at a local meet. What gives him validity, and this is actually a credit to you, but it's true. He's like, yeah, I had to go against Delaney, though. It wasn't
yeah,
like I was going against bumps. That's Delaney
yeah,
Wallace.
yeah,
People have to put respect on your name. So if you weren't there, his, like, still Angelo, Chris Perez are there, like phenomenal 83s, but having a two-time world champion, world record breaker in the mix, it makes it different. Now people are like, okay, fine. Like if it's a local meet, yeah, but fucking Delaney was it. It changes that conversation. You have to
yeah.
put
I mean,
respect
doing
on that local
865.
meet,
Yeah, I mean, 865 is you gotta respect it regardless. But yeah,
regardless.
it gives it
But
another talking point, right?
100%. Like,
So yeah,
people around the world raise eyebrows, like, yeah, it's a local meet in the US. People like put a pin in that, Playboy. Like the other 83s there were killers as well. But Delaney fucking Wallace was there, huh?
yeah,
It's which so I in a sense of, and this happens in MMA and boxing. So they can't take your accolades, but the champion, a lot of champions have said every time they defend their title, for you, it's another title defense. And even after they've lost their titles, there are guys who are like, whenever they take a fight or an up and comer, for you, it's just another match. It's another sporting event. For that guy, it's fucking the big show. It's
yeah,
you are coming, and it's like, fuck, if I beat him, everybody's looking now.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I did. Adeo Masakin did 861 at Western Euros, but nobody was at Western Euros. What if you were there? And
Mm,
he'd be like, yeah, it's different. And for you, you can never get away from that. You're you now. For
yeah.
here on out, you're Delaney fucking Wallace. It's a gift and it's a blessing. I mean, you
Yeah.
walk in a room of powerlifting, everyone will be like, holy shit, Delaney's here. It's you earned it. You earned
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But it is that. It is even local meet. You show up at a local meet, people are like, fucking Delaney Wallace is on the roster. You know,
Yeah.
it's they saw
Yeah.
you at Sheffield. Everybody
Absolutely.
saw what you did.
And
It
I think,
changes things.
and that's what oh man. What also made me sick was I remember before the meet started, there was a kid that had his dad drive him to that specific meet because they saw that I was going to be there because he saw one of the world championships. He's just like, yo, like Delay's my favorite powerlifter. And I remember like, yo, I remember talking to him before the meet. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna kill this. I got you. Like 8 step, I got you. This and the other thing, and just like, oh man, I just remember just feeling so sick. I felt like I did him a disservice. Like it's
It's
different. It's
tough.
just weird. Um, and so yeah, there's so many different pieces to it. But yeah, I mean, I just remember sitting there. I was just like, yo, out of like it's weird because out of all the meets, I'm glad it was that one. But at the same time, you're just like, it's this one. It's
Yeah,
this.
like
I'm like, it's
it's better.
this.
It's better. It's this one than the worlds. If that happened when you're at the
Yeah,
world champion, oh my god!
I
But I
jump out the
know
plane. But you know, I'm jumping out the plane. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm
they got to
sick.
strap you down.
Like
They
you know
got
what I'm saying?
to
But like so objectively, it's like yo, I'd rather this than like Malta or Lithuania
for
or
sure.
South Africa.
Sheffield.
But at the same time, you're just like yo, like like this is disgusting. Like how Delaney? How like how do you fuck up that bad? Right? You should be better than that, right? And so um yeah, so that that was the thing, and then you go back and forth. It's like, oh, should I have done it? Should I have not? Like this and the third, like just stay healthy, this and the other thing. And then I'm just like, yo, like there was no way to know how because you're fighting for a wild card. Like there's no guarantee you're getting in, so you got to try to make your best case. Um, and so yeah,
And
man, like
also,
that was kind of
also
that.
we go. Let's go back to the previously in our the same conversation where we said you stepped up when it was time to step up, and you took chances when it's time to take chances. And because you're that guy, you're a two-time world champion and world record breaker, two-time Sheffield podium Sheffield because you're that guy. So
Absolutely,
that guy, yeah, he shows up. And
absolutely.
every now, every finally you got burned once. You've got so many wins. Listen, my brother from another mother, you can't spell life without L. We all take
Yeah,
an L, but without that L, you can't spell life. So whatever. You're still
absolutely.
winning. Your record, you know, you keep swinging. Every now and then you take an L, but damn those wins. Damn those
Absolutely.
wins, dude, are the thing
They
that
make
does
them
you.
all worth it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that was kind of that. And then I guess going to like the post side of things, it so post after that, that's when I went to Kuwait, did like a powerlifting seminar out there, kind of like just like fixed the mainframe, refreshed a little bit, which was it was dope. Kuwait is dope out there. They got great food. Almost became a 93. I'm like, yo, if I'm stay out here too long, I'm gonna be a 93. I gotta get back. I can't do this. Um, but um, but no, all jokes aside, and then there again, like I said, there's a piece that also comes with it. It's just like, hey, like I now have what like 6, 9, whatever months before nationals, and so for the first time, I have an off season that I can just get in the bunker and work, and I'm on home soil. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm fighting on home soil, which feels so much easier than going across the world. Like it's just so much more comforting. And so yeah, and so like I'm excited. Like 4 weeks after, the Raleigh meet, that's when I hit that 320 squat. And then 4 weeks after that, that's when I hit the 328 or the 329. Like, and so I'm just like, yo, I'm finally back. Like I can drive through my adductor. I don't wince in pain. Like it's coming back again. And so I just feel I'm just like, yo, this is finally like to the world, they see it and they're just, oh wow. Delaney's like, yo, he's turning up. And I'm just like it's been there. I couldn't show it to you because I was shackled by this like injury, which is just like you punch air, you're just like mad, but you're just like I should have done this a year ago, 2 years ago. Um, but it just gives you something different, and so like I'm excited, I'm fired up. Like I'm like April. I know. I hope you're there in April, man. I just hope you're there
I'll
in
be there.
April, man.
I'll be there. Listen,
I just hope you're there.
what do you anticipate? What do you anticipate in April? First off, there's wild horses can keep me away, Playboy. I'm going to be there in April. But I mean, damn. But what do you anticipate from yourself in terms of your capabilities? Like we've seen now, there's three of them who've done 860 and up.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Because A, do you think Russ shows up, or do you think Russ just leaves at Sheffield and says, "Oh, let's hope it's good enough"? And then B, because Joey B's going to be there.
For sure.
Obviously Perez, Fortino, like the a lot of big guns, and they're all. What do you anticipate from the rest of the field, and what do you think you need to win it?
Um, and I guess the first question was the Russ thing. I don't think he shows up. Like I wouldn't show up if I was him. I mean, like I was him at that point in time, and I didn't, right? And I think it's more so. It's just like if you like Sheffield Nationals, World Games. Like there's only but so much you can do. There's only but so much you can do. There's only but so much your body can handle. And so I just don't even. I think he would do himself a disservice by going. To be honest with you, right?
Okay.
I would go Sheffield, see if it's enough, and if not, I go to the World Games, and I'm just like, all right, I'm happy. I go to World Games, just run it back, later. Like there's only but so many meets that you can do. Like that's how people get hurt. So I don't think he comes, but I mean, I could be wrong. Like Gavin showed up last year, so who knows, right?
Heaven's a wild
Um,
man, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, Gavin's different. But um, as for what I expect from all the other 83s, I have no idea. I have no idea. Like outside, like honestly, outside of Russ, and literally it's because like we have this like thing going on. So like he'll post something, and like I've already seen it. Like he'll text me like, "Oh, yo, my bench is coming up." I'm like, "Oh, yo, my spot's coming up." So like he like literally direct messages me like the lift like beforehand. But outside of like what he's doing, I have no clue what any other 83 is doing. Um, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. It doesn't change my perspective and what it is. Like the way I see it, it's just like if I max out my frame, if I do what I have to do, then there's no reason in the world that like I can't put up something monstrous. And if you beat me at that, then you beat me at that. I can stand on that. But I just don't believe in caring about what your opponents do in powerlifting. It's a moot point. Like that's what I have my coach for. If it comes down to a last deadlift and I need the chip, like put the chip on. But it's not for me to be like, oh well, Angelo deadlifted a lot today, and then this, that, and the thing, other thing happened, and then Joe did this, and then Sean did this, and this guy's coming back, and just does it change the SBD session I have to do? Does it change the RPE that my coach gave me? It doesn't, and so I try to. I think it's also a product of because I do so much. I try to prioritize the things that are important. It's not important. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
so in terms of like what I expect from them, I expect them to do a ton. I think the floor is 865 at least, right? Because that's what Joe did at Raleigh. So like it has to be the floor, right? So it needs to at least be that, like bare minimum, unless something tragic happens. Um, and then we just go from there. But my thing is just like I'm gonna max out my frame, and like that's just going to be what it is. That's just my mindset around it.
When you see 865, does that intimidate Delaney Wallace?
No, because I mean I was trying to we were based on the numbers we were trying to hit. It was supposed to be 870 that I was supposed to do at the Raleigh meet, and there's supposed to be a little something left. It just didn't turn out the way that we expected it to turn out. Um, so no, I mean I don't right like if I went to Sheffield, I expect Russ to at least do 860, 865 because that's what he did at Nationals, right? I always assume that my opponent is going to be their best. And so I grade them from their best, not, oh, they're going to miss this or that or that third. And so for me, I'm just like, yo, if I can get my ass to Sheffield, 865 is the floor that needs to be done, bare minimum, to even be in the conversation of the question, right? Like you have to expect that. If it falls another way, then great. But again, like I'm prepared. Oh, do I think that 860? Do I need it? Maybe so, maybe not. That mentality carries through, right? So people that say, "Oh yeah, if I have to break the world record, I will," versus I'm going to smash this shit. Like, who do you think when it's a coin flip? Like, do you think luck is going to draw your way if you don't have the conviction to say this is what I need to do, right? So I do think, not to get like spiritual or whatever. I do think that there is a sense of like you can bend luck to your will based on your energy and your preparation to some degree. And so, I mean, 865 is what needs. First off, and we all know this, us as 83s generally worldwide, we've all underperformed for the last like couple of years. Like we should have been around this range regardless. Um, there's just, for multiple reasons, whether it be injury, whether it be this and split and then like there's been things that come up. But if you look at like where things are falling, I think we can all agree that like, it shouldn't have been this long before like we're really kind of like in this mix, like doing the things that are happening. Um, and so yeah, no, 865, that's like I'm not worried about that. It shouldn't be a problem. Like if I'm aiming for 865, I've already lost. Like
Mm.
like that's just the fact of the matter. Like if I'm aiming for 865, I've already lost. Um, but I wasn't worried about 865 for Raleigh, so I'm definitely not worried about 865 when I'm healthy, in Georgia and in April. Like it's not a problem.
You had mentioned that if you had won worlds and went back to Sheffield World Games, you'd wrap it up because you were like, look at that, you will have accomplished everything. But you said there was so much else on your plate. So what is it that's on your plate that you think like, okay, you will stop competing?
Mhm.
Like, would you
Um,
step away entirely? Like, how much of a step away would you do?
I mean, so now it's changed just because like the future in which I envisioned, like we talked about before, you make plans and God laughs, right? Um, has changed. But in that scenario, I was just like, I'll lift just to like have fun and like be healthy because I don't want to be a fat slob, right? But like it was just like you just wouldn't like I just wouldn't compete. Like I'd just be gone. Like I think also like I don't we give too much time to this. Like I cannot relate to somebody that does powerlifting for fun. I can't relate to somebody that does it just as a hobby or as a hey, like this is just something to do because we spend too much time, right? Like I train 6 days a week, 2 to 3 hours a day, right? It used to be four. I had a little bit more time now, so now I could do six. I don't have to like combo whatever. Like 4 to 6 times a week, two to maybe 4 times a day, depending if you're doing SBD sessions, whatever. That is far too much time just to be playing around, right? And so if I'm going to step away and I'm not competing for world titles and national championships and world championships and Sheffields and all that, there's no point. I'm not having fun just playing in the backyard with my friends doing a local meet just for the sake of it so I can post it up and have somebody like, give me a couple compliments and like it. It's like I go to Sheffield and not post it. I don't care if you affirm me. Like the podium affirms me. The records affirm me. Like my medal affirms me, right? Um, and so if I had left, it would just been like I'm gone, right? Might hit the booth with you just so I could travel a little bit and like
I
commentary
was
and
gonna
just
say,
chill,
don't
chill,
leave.
chill,
Like,
chill with the big bro. But
yeah,
like from a competition standpoint, I'm just like I'm not. And also, I'm humble enough to know that if I'm not 100% in it, like how dare I think that I can continue to win if I don't give it my all, right?
mm,
Um, and so there's a mix to that, where it's like I would love to, be half mass and kind of give half effort and still be able to do that. But like that I believe like that's just an extreme amount of arrogance that I just think would be disrespectful to every one of my opponents, internationally and nationally, if I thought that I could do that, right? And so in terms of like what's on my plate, I mean it's work, trying to expand and do what I have to do from like just like like the CFO type of work that I'm trying to build here. And a lot of times, and these are things that like people don't see, there's a lot of times that like I have to make a decision between like, do I want to make money or do I want to hit this session? You know? And because I'm so competitive and there's things within this sport that I still want to accomplish, and I'm young and I believe that there's time, a lot of times I choose, get the session in and I walk away from opportunities that could have been, again, what a tragedy if that moment finds you unprepared or ill qualified, right? That could have been a money thing for me. And at some point in time, you have to say, okay, well, hey, I've done all I can here, and I need to focus on this other piece because you can't serve two masters. And if I'm being honest, I've been serving two masters for quite some time, and I've been getting away with it, but both will be hindered to some degree until I let go, right? And that's just with anything. And so I'm just like, hey, you know, grow the business some more, start a family one day, like do other things, travel more. Like, I'm doing this powerlifting, like, seminar stuff now. So I get to travel a little bit more, but I want to travel more, but I can't because that would disrupt training. Like, imagine if I traveled every 3 months somewhere, like how much that would just screw up training. Like, I can't. So you have to make that decision. And I'm happy to make that competing for world championships and Sheffields and all this other stuff. Because how many times are you going to get that opportunity? I may never see the world stage again. Get what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
Like you asked me last year before like all the mix up happened and other stuff. It's like, yo, like that vision of world games was so clear. You could like so clear. You could not even. I couldn't even fathom that anything gets in the way, short of me like literally like driving off a bridge, like in my car. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like traumatic, just like the world implodes. Um, but now like I might never see the world. I might never see the world stage again, right? And that's real. And so while you have it, take it. And so that's the mentality that I've had when it comes to powerlifting. And so that's kind of like where I kind of like fell when I was just like, hey, okay, you look at it, you look at the injuries, you look at this, you look at the amount of time spent. I mean, like you do the math on the amount of time, like there's a lot of time spent. What if you use that somewhere else or did other things? And so that was kind of my mentality on. I'm just like, well, hey, if I could get this third one, and ain't no other 83 got three, and I could do this world game thing, and nobody else has done that. And I've been the only person 83 in the world to be at every single Sheffield, like most Sheffields, most world titles, most like what else is there for me to do? Like now
You're the goat.
I'm just playing the game for the sake of like I like people screaming my names in the arena. And I just think that there's more to life than that. And so like that was kind of that piece. Obviously the gym thing came up, and so I'm like, hey, okay, now I got this other thing that's going on, like the gym, X, Y, and Z. And so there was a lot of different moving parts. There's other ventures and stuff that I want to try to explore. And so that was the thought process behind it. Um, I am extremely hyper competitive, so all of that is going completely out the window. Because y'all done pissed me the hell off. Um,
Because y'all left me
complete,
no other choice.
completely no other choice, like no zero other choice. I know I'm so like I did a pod with like Joey because he wanted to talk about the Malaysia thing with me and Cayco, and like before we hopped on, I'm like Joey, like I hope you understand, like I don't even know if you need to handle me for nationals because my numbers are set in stone. Like like it is. These are the attempts. Like I could just give it to anybody, just write it down for me, and I don't care what else happens. Like bombing out is the same as coming in second, right? Like it really is, right? When you get like when you've done a certain amount of things, when you've climbed the ladder, like coming in second is just as bad as bombing out. And so it's like go for broke. Um, and so I was like that, like that's the mentality. Like I don't care. Like it's all gone. Like this is it. Um, and so who knows how long I'll be doing it for now. Maybe it will be a little bit longer than what I anticipated, and the journey alters a little bit, which goes back to like the very first thing that we talked about. Love when things go full circle. But yeah, I mean it's a mixture of like work and like social life and doing other things and travel and opening a gym now and that whole thing. There's just like, hey, at some point in time you can't serve two masters, and you gotta put one on the burner. And I'm too competitive to just show up to a random meet just for the fun of it and be like, hey, like I'm just having fun with the guys. Like I don't have fun. Like that's not fun. Like lifting
You know what's
like
fun? Winning world records, breaking world
exactly. Like
records
you
and
know what I'm
winning
saying? Like
titles is fun.
that's fun. Like that's fun. Like you know why I'm dancing? Because I'm on the freaking world stage winning. That's why
Yeah.
I'm dancing. Like that's why I'm excited. Because I like it. There's not though because I'm in my own gym doing a backyard local meet for the hell of it, and like that. Like it's not fun. I can lift on my own. I don't need you to be there and have to like water cut for that. And so like that's why like I was just like when I do stop, it'll probably just be like we're out. Like I'll stay in shape just so I don't look sloppy.
You can't
But
be chubby.
I
You're gonna
can't I
be
can't I can't I can't
muscular.
I can't be sloppy. You know what I'm saying? Like I got
Can't be
my
sloppy,
future
man.
my future kids gotta look at their dad like, hey yo, like he
That's
does a
my
little
dad.
something,
Yeah, yeah,
but
exactly.
it won't be the same. Just the amount of like commitment and time that I got put into it. That's just my mentality on it.
Well, if anything else, the deck got reshuffled, and
For sure.
now what you weren't meant to exit that quickly.
Maybe.
You weren't meant to exit that quickly. The game isn't over yet.
Yeah,
Now you sit back and tell yourself, maybe I gotta see this through and see what lessons am I supposed to glean from this? What are we gonna do here? Maybe there's new heights. Maybe you would have left too soon and you wouldn't have hit certain heights that you need to hit before you leave.
absolutely,
Certain whatever it is. And you're like, okay,
absolutely.
cap it out. Not time wise, capability wise.
Yeah,
Time wise is one thing. So your time can be directed to another venture. I get that. But before you do, imagine you're my age, you're looking back at me like, I didn't cap out capability. How how far could I push my toe?
yeah,
And maybe you need to see that before you leave, not just titles and whatnot, because you got those. And previously, you were talking about if I got all these titles and all these whatever, what else more is there to do? And the answer would be nothing. You'll have done everything.
yeah,
However, what if it was in the back of your mind, like, if I fucking went all out, how close to like 880 could I have gone? How far could I have, you know, like put it this way. If your career ends today, you've had a remarkable career.
yeah,
Like you've achieved a back-to-back world champ, world record holder. Like this is the shit that less than 1% are ever going to taste. And if someone's starting out, every kid that grabs a weight, Blake Barrett made a post. He's a Canadian 74. He won the Canadian national title. And
hmm
he reposted one of his posts he made when he first started powerlifting. It was like adorable, but it's humbling. He said, read this post. And it was literally him at like 17 talking about how I'm going to be a world champion and this is the beginning of my journey and blah, 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 right? Like all 17-year-olds who begin do. And in his caption underneath, he goes, now this is me now. He's like 27 or whatever. And he's won national titles, been to world championships, but he's
hmm
like, he says, now I know I'm never going to be a world champion. He says, because he's not beating Burke. Okay. He's like 100 kilos off. But he says, I now found my new why. And he's like,
mm
everything I've done in my life, all the friends I've met, all the moments I had, winning national titles, breaking national records, that's his thing. What I'm saying is, I say all this to say 99% of the population is going to come to that realization, Delaney. 99. And it's not, they didn't want it hard enough. They're going to hit their ceiling, and there's nothing more they could do. They went all in and they come to peace with it because it's not they left with nothing. However, that's you being a two-time world champion, world record breaker, two-time at Sheffield podiumist. It just puts into perspective your resume, which is literally every 99% of people's dream. Just one of those world rep championships would have been a dream for all of these kids. They all start at 17, 18, 10, wishing they could just have even one. You're one day in South Africa, one day, and you've had multiple days.
No,
And that's where
100%.
I say all that. Like,
Yeah,
so if it was to stop today and you never competed again, my dude, you've won. You know what I mean? You've won for a little perspective for you.
no, yeah,
And I love
it's
that post that Blake did. He's very honest and it really puts perspective.
it's interesting that you bring up Blake's post because I remember posting something extremely similar to that when I started too, like 5, 6 years ago, like January 1st. Literally, and we talked about it a little bit, like literally, like day after, like I got kicked out of an apartment. I almost didn't find one. Like I was almost sleeping in the storage unit. Blah blah blah. I just started my career in finance, so I wasn't making no money. Like I was working part time at CVS, just trying to whatever. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna be one of the best powerlifters in the world, and I'm gonna be one of the best businessmen too. And like I remember, like I think about that like sometime in terms of like perspective and like, hey, how far you go, and it does bring. I do use that for perspective in terms of like times where like you get mad at yourself or you feel like you haven't gotten as far as where you want to. Cause I'm like, yo, my total should be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 kilos more than what it is. But if I didn't get hurt and this, then like it should be more. Like I'm mad at myself for even things that are outside of my control. I'm just like, yo, there should be more there. And you're just like, yo, like I remember when I would have given up everything for to be exactly where I am right now, right? And so there is some gratitude in that. Um, and so it's interesting. Um, and like I know it's not a unique story. I'm sure we've all had that moment where we said, "Oh, we're going to do something great," and we look back and like, "Oh shit!" Like I'm like little me, like we did it, bro, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just interesting to hear like Blake had that moment too, to look back and like I remember like it was yesterday. Like I was in Transform Fitness, pulled up a selfie camera, like you know what I'm saying, like, and I was just like, yo, like I'm gonna do this thing, and it works out, and so, yeah, man, um, definitely perspective, but definitely so much more in the tank, um, and yeah, now like I'm like we gonna go for broke, and like y'all, I'm telling, man, I'm telling you, you're gonna see something crazy this go around, man.
Let me
I'm telling you,
let
bro.
me ask you one more question here. What was your finest hour so far?
In powerlifting,
Oh, well, oh shit. Is there something
power,
non-powerlifting? Do powerlifting, but you could tell me non-powerlifting too if it's a good story.
I think it could be powerlifting. I think my finest hour is yet to come in like other things. Um, it's so tough. It's so tough, right? Because I'll say this last Sheffield was my finest hour in powerlifting, and I'll say why,
Mine for you. Okay, go
and
ahead.
I'll say why. For multiple different reasons. Because one, so like it was either that or one of the world championships, right? But this last Sheffield only happens if I win the other world championship. So therefore, I've that was a stepping stone to that. So I use
True.
that as a reason. Um, but my the ability to like back against the wall, like I'm talking like so hurt, like that I'm ready to drop out. My sister's like my one voice of reason, just like she's like and it's cool. Like me and my sister, we have a really cool relationship. Like I love her to death. She loves me to death. And we feed off each other in different ways. She's very calm, cool, and collected and reserved. I'm kind of not. And like I remember like as I'm complaining about like the injury and I'm like I can't squat yet and I'm like I don't even have knee sleeves on and this and the other thing. The only thing that my sister like ever said about like the competition was just like I booked my plane ticket, I have my ticket, and like that was about it. She was just like I'm going to be there. Like you know what I'm saying? It's a matter of are you going to be there or not? But like I've already gone, right? It was one of those type of things. It was like I'm not even acknowledging that you're hurt. I know you're hurt, but you've always come through, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you were in a coma for a week, you came through. Like this is nothing, right? Um, and so my mom, my dad, who now passed, right? And so hindsight 2020, like get like him being there as well. And they he was at South Africa too, but like this moment was different. My mom, my dad, and my sister being able to be in the stands of the biggest powerlifting event the world has ever known and watch their son come back from what could have been a career-ending injury. Like this adductor thing is like I've talked to other people that had adductor injuries and they've never come back, right? Um, and to break the world record on that stage to like thousands of people screaming their kid's name. Like my dad's like just like sitting there beaming with joy. He's just like standing next to my banner, just like watching as people are just like
Dream.
coming up, like just like all of that coming into one. That monkey coming off the back of like, okay, like Delaney can't do it, this and a third. And obviously, like, and rightfully so, people are like, yo, Delaney's gonna come in dead last at Sheffield. I damn near won the whole damn thing. Like the culmination of all that, um, especially when I first started not even knowing what Worlds was and just seeing that Sean Noriega and Russel Orhii are the best 83s in the world. Like that's when I came in. And so like those two guys were my North Star. And so to finally let like have that be eclipsed and like no longer be a part of like the to-do list. Um, world record, greatest stage ever. It's documented, it's there. I have to say that has to be my finest hour in powerlifting. It like I'll remember that forever. And I think it means even more, especially like just with my dad passing like last month. Like it means even more because like he was there too. So like like the last physical thing that he got to see was his son be the best in the world at something, right? Um, and so like that means a lot too. So I'd say like yeah, powerlifting wise, it would have it took me a little bit to like really get the answer, but it would have to be this last Sheffield that just happened for sure.
There's a lot. You've had a lot of great moments. South Africa was phenomenal. Your parents were there. Um,
Yeah,
Freaking sweetest couple you ever met in your life. But like, that's why he's such a nice guy. Everyone's like, Delaney's such a nice guy. Friggin' meeting your parents in South Africa. I was like, of course, they're like super freaking nice. And winning that, like the first world title is huge. Like everything that came with it.
yeah,
On the other side of the world in Africa, like it was quite the travel for like everybody. We're totally out of our element. It's
yeah,
nothing like US or Canada, like not North American at all. And you winning that was the beginning. Malta was special for a lot of reasons too, and but Sheffield was. I remember, like honestly, man, that conversation beforehand, visiting your hotel room and your family's all in there, in um, like I'm not like hearing your dad pass. Like I was for real sorry because like your dad like is a really good dude, and I'm so glad he was there for those moments.
yeah,
He was there physically, not just watching though. And like going to your hotel room and seeing your crew there, like your family was there with you, and like everyone's in there the night before, everyone's with you, like you were there, man. You had each other.
yeah,
I'm so glad that like the way it all transpired, man. It's you guys have those moments. Nobody could ever take those moments. That's it. That's
for
already
sure.
happened in its in time. And I can
Yeah,
only imagine like what he must be thinking, seeing his son winning world titles and in an arena of thousands of people chanting his son's name, and you having that moment breaking the world record and knowing what that means and everything was attached to it, and watching you on the podium at Sheffield getting your trophy and the crowd going nuts. um yeah, man, it was the redemption, like it was the redemption redeeming moment where everything falls into place.
yeah,
And it actually changed how everybody saw everything you'd previously done. We talked
yeah,
about earlier in the podcast.
absolutely.
Everything changed then. Don't tell me, Russ. I just took his world record on the global stage. I've arrived. And people were DMing, being like, this is Delaney's. Two other people's, they were saying, this is Delaney's famous one. Now we talk differently. Now we talk differently. And we're all going to pass, obviously, but your dad being there to see that is
Yeah,
huge. It's
yeah,
huge, man. To have been there, and he was there for all your moments, like at nationals and everything, man. But for him to be there, you know, it's big, man. The
yeah,
stars aligned on that day, my friend, and
for sure.
for sure. And if you were healthy, what you could have done, this is better. It's better. It's
Yeah,
better that you were hurt and fucked up. And the storyline is like, I almost pulled out. I wrote that email 5 times. This is in my draft. Almost hit send 5 times to Pete Spence, and 5 times I said, let's see what tomorrow brings. 5 times. Showed up week of, I told just me and you don't gotta lie to me. I'm your boy. And this is off the record. And you were like, I'm not sure. I really don't know. We're gonna find out tomorrow. And I'm like, holy shit. All right. But and it happened. And you did it. And you did it. And the fact that you got this close the year before and then came back to do it, better. If you did it year one and then year two you just chipped it by a little bit, that's not that's not good. That's not the story. The story is you make it the first year and come this close. And they show you, they got you looking at the video and your reaction video to watching yourself just miss. And my commentary, but I was about to say he's got it. And then the bar went down, like, oh, and they make you watch it and react to it. And that sets up the second Sheffield. That's life.
yeah,
It's supposed to be that. And you going into the second Sheffield banged up, thinking about pulling out. And it's like, oh my God, it's going to happen again, isn't it, lady? Oh my God, it's going to happen again. And to be like, it doesn't happen again. I do take the world record. The history is rewritten. Everybody talks about me differently from here on out now. It's okay. It wasn't more. It's fine. Who cares? Numbers are numbers. In 10 years, all of these numbers are going to suck compared to what they're doing in 10 years.
Exactly.
You know what they'll remember? Titles, world records. He broke a world record. He took 2 titles. That's what matters. Because
Yeah,
numbers, it won't mean anything in the future.
for
You know,
sure.
that's perspective that people need. Blow up a local meet and get a big number. 10 years from now, people are like, well, you won a local meet though. Like, yeah, your number was so-so. It's like, no, at the time it was good. No, no. You know what's always good? You don't got to explain. World record, world title, 2 world titles, blah, blah, blah. Got you. Dog,
Yeah,
it is what it is, kid. So I'm glad we're on both the same page with what your finest hour was. I agree, man.
for sure.
And
I remember your reaction when I told you that too in the hotel room when I was like, I don't know. You tried to keep it cool, but you
I
looked so nervous. Yo,
I
you
tried
started,
to be cool.
yo, you was low key sweating, man. Like, yo, like I
I tried
remember,
to
and I
do.
like you was because like, it was so different than every other like comment I ever give you, and he
I
was just
know.
like, yo, if Delaney's saying this is bad. Like,
I
and
know.
I could just see your face. You're just like, oh fuck, I stepped in something.
I was like,
Yeah,
oh no, it's late. This is tomorrow. We need a miracle tonight. It was, oh man, that was stressful. But
yeah,
frick, man, that the very next day, the sun shined, and it all worked out, man. It all worked out in the end. And you're on the freaking podium. You made it on the podium, dog. It was that was wild. That was wild,
yeah,
man. We've had some memories, huh?
for sure, man.
Some good
There's
ones,
gonna be
man.
more. There's gonna be more.
There'll be
I
more,
can't
man.
let you travel the world without me, brother. I gotta
That's
give
right.
that.
That's
This
right.
year was weird. I missed you.
I'm glad it was a little weird. But I started off Sheffield. We'll see each other. I'm glad I'm doing USAPL or not USAPL. Yikes. I'm glad I'm doing USA Nationals. So I'm gonna see everybody all the time too. And I'm gonna see you um, at Nationals is gonna be phenomenal. It's gonna be
For
fucking
sure.
phenomenal, man. We'll
For
do it all
sure.
again. Listen, man, thank you for coming on the podcast, my dude. Thank you
My
for
guy.
for obviously the door is always open. We always have good conversations, man. I mean, we always we go places. I
Always.
appreciate it, man. Stay in touch and freaking yeah, man. I'll talk to you plenty before then, but I'm excited to
You'll
see
see the
what you
hidden
do, man.
PRs along the way. You'll
Yeah,
see the hidden PRs
listen, man.
along the way.
Pete Spence would love if you drop them. Not just Pete, your boy too, but let me know if you drop something hot. Send a collab. I'll collab with you. We'll blow it up. Unless you're trying to keep it low key, you do you. You do you.
For
But
sure. I got you,
um,
bro.
if everything's good, stay healthy, and let's give these fellas one more run, huh? Let's give
One
these
more.
fellas one more run. It ain't over yet. The stars,
For
the
sure.
stars didn't let you off the hook yet to go on to your other ventures. It is
For
what it
sure.
is. And everybody listening, as per usual, please do subscribe, give us high ratings, and until next time, 6-pack Lapadat, 6 up, and we are out.